Dale, do you have it around?
I think I've got a couple of different versions of it.
Sitting around there. Oh, that one for now, and then, I know we don't have any shortage of papers, probably.
No.
All right. We'll go ahead and get the meeting started. I know we're running just a little bit late, but lots of stuff to cover tonight. But as we always do, we like to remember folks in the community. Like to be with Karen as her husband passed away, and Karen had a very nice ceremony there Saturday. Judge Ison is county judge in Shelby County. He has some health problems. I saw him today, and he's got a road in front of him. Maybe not an easy road, but hopefully he'll get through and be fine. And I know Kathy Spears is one of our city commissioners that's had some tests and some health issues, so I want to remember her. Of course, Doug's mother passed away. I want to continue to remember Doug and his family. Anyone else? Anyone else?
The city attorney.
Yes, Robert Miles. He had a diagnosis of cancer, I believe. I saw him Saturday at the funeral home there, and he and his wife, and he's optimistic. So, you know, these are just people that touch our county families. Anyone else that I might have forgot? But I know there's others in the community that are hurting and have needs, and but we have lots to be thankful for also. And so if you don't mind, Jim, would you open in a word of prayer, please?
Father God in heaven, we appreciate this opportunity that we can come and meet tonight to discuss our county business. And as we all do, we ask for your wisdom, your guidance in all the decisions we make. Father, be with those that Scott mentioned that lost loved ones and those that are sick, and just place your healing hand upon them and heal them if you see fit. But comfort those who have lost ones. I know Karen and I myself have been in that same situation the last few months, and it's a tough road to carry. But anyway, just be with all of us as we go through this life, and we thank you for all the ones that are here present tonight, and just be with all of us as we make these decisions, and give us your wisdom and guidance in doing so. It's in Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you would join in salute to our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
Squire Stump.
Here.
Squire Ferris.
Here.
Squire Eldridge.
Here.
Judge Travis.
Here.
Squire Travis.
Here.
Squire Cotton.
Here. All right, we're all here. Thank you for that. The first on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Now we have the minutes from August 8th, and then we have what the part Lynn took, and then the part that Corey took follows there on page 35. I found one place we might need a correction on page 15. Item 10, where it talked about working on the jailer's car. The one bid that I approved was not replacing the timing chain, and it was not at Watson's, but it was at Mr. Hambrick's. And but anyhow, so I was, to make that proper, I started striking past the word approved, and I struck all the way to where it said Mr. Watson. So the new language would read, the judge remarked that he approved to fix it. And basically where it says jailer vehicle repair estimates. So, and then the rest of it there was fine. I saw that as a needed correction. I didn't find anything else. This is on the 8-5 minutes.
motion to approve.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I've got on page 5. I know we discussed it at the last meeting about the county road regulations as far as repaving. And I thought we, as a court, decided that we were gonna stick to our original, regulations as far as paving the existing county road. I think you brought it up, but I didn't see anything in the minutes about.
Yeah, we did say that we was gonna, hold people to the current, most up-to-date regulation and not make an exception. That's what you said, right?
I think that's what we agreed upon, but there was no motion made, I take it.
No, nothing better than motion.
No,
But we just agreed that
Yeah.
we would abide by the current regulations.
Yeah.
As far as repaving the existing county road. Okay.
Yes.
That's all I have.
all right, anything else? Anything else for the August 5th minutes?
Motion to approve with the recommended changes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Mike, to approve the minutes with the recommended changes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the 7/16/2024 special meeting. Oh, that was on, I didn't write the page number down.
18.
Okay. Yeah, 18 and 19, I didn't see any changes that needed to be made.
I didn't either. Motion to approve the, special meeting of Tuesday, July 16th minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Dan, to approve the special call meeting minutes of 7/16/2024. Any discussion?
Just let me reflect that on the abstain because I'm not here. I wasn't here that day.
Okay.
Me as well.
Okay, all right. You two guys will not be, say you're not voting. Correct. All right, any discussion? So all those in favor, raise your right hand. There'll be 4 of us. And then, of course, y'all don't have to be opposed, I guess. Anyone opposed? You're just not voting. So 4-0. So they passed. All right, thank you all for that. Going on down, I know we have some folks in the audience that'll be addressing, and I'm gonna try to roll y'all kind of up toward the front. But we have a communication from County Judge under D number 1. Scott Herndon has announced his retirement, which will take place at the last day of this month. And I'll be appointing a replacement. And I just want to invite everyone, if they'd like to, on August 30th, 2 p.m. on the 2nd floor, we'll be swearing in my appointee at that time. So, and I think, but anyway, we want to congratulate and send our sheriff off with a smile and a handshake. He's not in here tonight, is he? All right, but anyhow, that'll be taking place. On page 42, we've got a KYTC draft improvement plan. I'm gonna turn to it. I don't know, think we have to do anything. I'm gonna get on this STIP website and see what type of action we gotta take place there. So, and Audrey, I might need some guidance on that possibly. I don't know if can you speak to that at all?
No, I don't work for them anymore.
Okay, well, that's fine.
But we can talk to some people who can.
Okay, yeah, the statewide transportation improvement program. I mean, I know we have a 6-year plan. I guess this would be 5, 6, 7, 8, like some type of 4-year plan. This is pertaining to some of the COVID funds, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. We'll see what that is and see how we can participate. I know we have through September 14th, so we'll check and see what that is. But I don't have anything to add to that. Any questions so far? Anything? All right, this time we'll open the floor, communications from citizens. Anyone in the crowd like to address the court? This is the time.
Sorry.
If you would, you're good. Please just state your name and
Andrew Marshall, and Catherine Scott. Sorry, we're with tourism. Usually I would be on the agenda and I dropped the ball, so I apologize. Just wanted to introduce you to Catherine Scott. She is our new director. So she will be here periodically giving you updates on what we've got going on tourism-wise. And so we're very excited. She's about Wednesday, I think, is 2 weeks, and it's been amazing already. So already exceeded expectations. If you want to, I'll pass it on.
Sure. We're having a wonderful time with a great booth at the state fair, but we do need more volunteers to help out. I'm delighted to spend as much time there as possible, but it would be nice to be able to have 2 people at the booth so our guests could really have the best experience they can have. We have a virtual reality set of glasses where they can take a tour of the Salt River, and it's spectacular and a very popular thing. But we need to have more than one person at a time up there so that one person can attend to that and the other can talk to people and talk about Spencer County. So we're hoping that you will take a look at your schedules and take a look at the form that Andriana gave you and see if you have time that you could give to our booth at the fair. If you have any questions, please reach out to Andriana or myself, and her info is on there for you. Thank you very much.
Ms. Scott, you
Yes.
hang
Yes,
on.
sir.
I would like to say that I don't want everyone to get wore out on celebrations, because we just celebrated our bicentennial. But there is, the United States will be 250 years old in a couple of years, and I'm sure there'll be some sort of national celebration that we'll have, and it's the Kentucky what's it called?
It's called America 250.
America 250, okay. And that takes us all the way back to the Revolutionary War portion, and the Tourism Commission is working with some of their members and the Genealogical Society and some other folks on how Spencer County will celebrate that. And like I say, I know we're on the heels of bicentennial, but that is some of their work that's up and coming, and I know they're already doing some research to try to get, a lot of people fought in the Revolutionary War and got land grants. And some of those farms are still, some of those land grants are still, not many, but still in the same families that we can trace. So it'll be some more history lessons. Anything you'd like to add to that?
Oh, we're hard at work on that to present for grant funding. We're building an app or a website app. We're price comparing on that. And we're doing all kinds of research with the help of your lovely wife. And Vicki Glisson and I are chairing the pursuit of the grant, and it's going to be a really beautiful historical project that's going to have a lot of educational value for the children in our community. So we're real excited about that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. And also the Beehive, is that tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow from 3 to 5, we have Taylorsville is opening.
The grand opening.
You're available.
Tomorrow afternoon, 3 to 5.
3 to 5, yep.
So, all right. Anything else, you guys? Y'all have any questions for these two? All right, thank you
All right,
very much.
thank you.
We look forward to stuff coming in the future. Anyone else like to address the crowd? Like to address the court? Yeah, come ahead. Awesome.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Austin Chrisman. I grew up in Spencer County. I moved out here when I was 12 years old. Unfortunately, I did have an issue going on with addiction. But the reason I come to y'all tonight is I don't want to ask for anything but consideration. The reason I asked for consideration is because in order to overcome this, I had to move away from Spencer County in order to find the help that I needed. Spencer County does offer 2 programs. One is in Centerstone, one is within 7 counties. Unfortunately, these programs are short-term programs where you take classes several times a week. What I'm asking for y'all to take into consideration is a long-term treatment program or facility. In the most recent survey, 7% of Kentucky residents reported use in illicit drugs in the past month. In 2020, 14.5%, and then in 2021, 16.5% of U.S. citizens 12 and older had substance use disorder. That's 46 million people, and out of that, only 6 people were able to receive treatment. 8%, something else I want you to consider is, I know that Spencer County is a community that is growing. When it comes to growing, unfortunately, when it comes to growing, there's a crime rate that comes along with that. 80% of Americans that are in the prison systems have reported using substance abuse issues. Something else I want you to take into consideration, this one, it really bothers me. In 2022, 721 children were treated in hospitals for drug ingestion. 32 of these children unfortunately died from drug overdose in their ingestion. Majority of these cases they found that were in households where their parents had substance abuse issues. The reason I ask y'all to take this into consideration is I read a report that on addiction treatment, 52% of the respondents that reported the reason they couldn't receive treatment because it either wasn't available or they couldn't afford it. I battled for 13 years, and it took me moving away from this community, which I love. It comes back to a point now where I'm finally able to come back home and try and be a student of what recovery and sobriety can do for our community. I've lived in this community for a long time. Unfortunately, I'm 30 years old. I've buried almost as many friends as I have due to addiction. This is a serious problem that we have going on across the state of Kentucky, and it's only been increasing since COVID. Our overdose rate in the state of Kentucky, our overdose rate in the state of Kentucky is at 2.83%. That's 57% above the national average. I'm not asking y'all to think whether or not this should happen. I'm asking y'all to take into consideration how we start to address this problem. That's all we got.
Thank you. Yeah, glad you came. We have a presenter a little later. Y'all remember last meeting, we talked about the net recovery, and Jeff Locke, I see him sitting back here. He's up a little later on the agenda. And Austin is friends with Karen, and Karen asked about the nephew, and more than friends, but asked about, he'd like to come and tell us, and we all know that we have opioid funds that the state they've sent us this money and we put it in the bank, but yet there's a list of rules that we have to follow. And but as far as new programs and treatment and education, we pretty well identified those, and we're wanting to go that way. As far as we're working with the sheriff's office on some programs, but we are aware we do have funds, and I appreciate you coming tonight with your testimony to us about how we need to take action. And I don't know if you've noticed these Narcan boxes that we have around the community. We have talked about those, and I'll talk about it again tonight. They are there. If folks in the community have a loved one, a relative, a friend that they know has an addiction, I would advise that they get some of those and put them in the house, just in case. We all know someone that has had a family member pass away in the house. And if that were in the house, then it could have saved their life, and then they could have got treatment. So, but we are working towards trying to get a remedy. Good news, the state's numbers were down some last year, which was good news. But we still got a long way to go. And again, I thank you for coming tonight, telling us your story. Appreciate that. Anyone else in the audience like to come and address the court? All right. Thank you. We'll move on from there. Now, the faces I see, I'm going to try to let me get y'all in where you're not here till breakfast. So next, the Soccer Association. Y'all would like to address us?
My name is Megan McGurk-Rogers. I'm the new president of Spencer County Soccer. This is Josh, he's our VP of Spencer County Soccer. Eddie Mallory stepped down this past season, so he's no longer in charge of it, it's now us. We have a board of 8 people now, and we are looking to make a lot of changes, update Waterford Park. I feel like because we're kind of like way out on the edge of the county there, it's not in town, not many people see it as often, so we're trying to get it updated, get concession stands fixed and back open again. We are hoping that we can get some help getting the funds to get these things fixed. So one thing we've talked about getting is an AED out there. I know Andy had told us that there had been some out there previously, but they had gotten stolen. But I've talked to, I think, you and Fire and EMS about it, and everybody was on board. Let's get one out there. That'd be a great place for it. They are $1,800 to $2,000 each. About $100 annual service plus batteries as needed. So
So that would be something that we would hopefully be able to ask the county to help us purchase for the park, have it somewhere accessible to everybody to be able to get to it. Luckily, we have not had an issue out there, but I mean, this season we have 220 kids out there playing, just for this season. And I mean, you heard about that other county not too far from here that they had a kid that was just out of recess. And so if that would be something that would happen out there, we have nobody nearby to help. We are getting first aid kits for every single coach, but an AED would be very beneficial to have out there. We also have gotten a quote for, I can give you all these papers after I'm done, a quote to get compartments, partitions for the bathrooms out there. I don't know if you guys have been out to the bathrooms at Waterford. They are particle board doors and walls. And I know like my little 7-year-old, she can't quite lift up a particle board door to get the lock to get in. So she just tells me, well, the bathrooms don't lock, Mom. That's just, so we have gotten a quote to get the good hard, plastic that would be out there that would, for both men's and women's bathrooms, and also changing tables as well, because that's not out there. So we have a lot of little kids out there, and if they have to change a diaper, they're just like laying in the grass or on the bathroom floor or on a park bench somewhere. There's nowhere for them to do that either.
Yeah, how much is all that stuff, what you just said?
So for
The stalls and
that would be, so for the material, the tax rate, that's $29.50. The plastic material is $13.60, and the installation is $14.95. And I can give you all these papers when I'm done so that you have this already. We also got, we've been obviously in good contact with Brian Spencer since he's in charge of parks. He got a quote for us to get fencing from Heckert Fencing along one of our back fields, the brush line, because the creek is right there. The brush line is right up next to the field, and we lose soccer balls constantly over there. So we were hoping to get at least a 6-foot chain link fence on that field, along that brush line there. So for $6,750 for a 6-foot chain link fence along that one park, or one field there. We also have the concession stand that we're hoping to get back open again this season. We have roll-up doors, metal roll-up doors out there, and at some point somebody tried to break in or break out or something, but they've been damaged. They're like punched and the corners are rolled up. We can't even open the doors anymore. So I talked to TrackRite, which is the company that has those doors are right now, and sent them pictures and everything, and they said those are beyond repair. We're gonna have to get new ones. The total for that would be $1,021.19, and that would be them just sending us the doors and we install it. Which Josh has said that's no big deal. We can work that out. We can install it. So. We also have been working with the roof sign company. One of the family members is on our board, and she got us a sign package quote. So we're looking at getting a new sign out near the road that says Waterford Park. There used to be one out there, I guess it rotted away and it never got replaced. We also are looking at getting a big, like 3-piece sign out near the softball field, like in between the softball and soccer fields there, that has a map of the complex with all the field numbers and everything, so that whenever we have the out-of-state or out-of-town teams come, they know where they're going. Park rules, and also just good sportsmanship kind of rules out there. We have been talking, Josh's company that he works for has been interested in sponsoring that sign, so we're hoping to get at least that one paid for. But we still need to get the big Waterford sign as well, so.
you have an estimate on it?
Yes, that one would be, they give us several different options. So for the one that we were looking at, it would be the entrance sign, $1,660. To just give it to us and we would install it for that one. And then I don't have a quote on me right now. They didn't have it ready. They said they'll send it to me by tomorrow morning so I can email that to you guys later. We're hoping to get a water fountain out there with a bottle filler so that the kids can have access to water, because right now, especially with the concession stand not open, if they run out of water during 90-degree days, they have to go, the parents have to go drive down to Dollar General and go buy some more water. So we're hoping to get a water fountain with a bottle filler. To be one that is okay to be outside in the elements, it's $3,000. We are working with another family out there that his company has said that he's interested in either sponsoring the whole thing or at least giving it to us at a discount and they would install it for us. But that is still kind of up in the air. He's working with his company on that right now. So, and I will get that quote to you guys tomorrow. And I think that is all we have working on. We are, I mean, like I said, we're trying to get sponsors from different companies of people that are either on board or just soccer family communities that, you know, we're a huge community. We're trying to work with high school a lot and middle school and get all of our kids all playing together, getting to know each other, going to each other's games. So we're trying to get this park bigger, better, more updated, cleaner, just trying to make it nice.
Yeah, well, I can say, I know in our parks budget, you know, we put that new ceiling up down there to
Yes.
keep the
We appreciate that.
birds from messing the picnic
Yeah,
tables
we can
up.
actually use them without getting pooped on now. We appreciate
Right,
that.
yeah, that was a good move, and we spent a lot of money last year fixing the water there,
Mhm.
plus fixing the drainage, plus fixing the parking lot.
Yes,
there.
parking lot, yeah.
And, I mean, I think we've got it, you know, in pretty good shape. This is just my opinion, and the court can chime in. You know, a lot of these other things would be nice. I mean, I'd love us to have a sign out there, in front of the park, but, and I'm afraid that if a lot of these things, you know, if we put them out there, now we do have cameras, and we do try to leave the lights on, make sure you guys leave those lights on. They're intended to stay on all night. That
Yeah.
way, when you drive by, you can see, you know, people are in the light. We also
They're on
have,
a timer right now.
yeah, they're supposed to stay on all night.
Yeah.
We had a rear door that somebody tried to break in and we blocked it up
Yeah.
with blocks. But, you know, I fear that a lot of these, you know, the outdoor water fountain, the AED, would possibly get torn up, stolen again. I don't know if you can have something in the concession stand, and whenever y'all are there practicing, if you had a way to fill your water bottles in the concession stand. I mean, I know we have good water in there.
Yeah, well, and that's what, we're also waiting to hear back from the health inspector to have them come back out and inspect the concession stand so we can reopen it and make sure it's all good.
Okay, all right.
We did get it all cleaned out this
The
past week.
old AED that was out there, was it mounted to a post, or do you remember this?
To my knowledge, there's never been an AED.
Yeah, that's what you had said in the email, so I'm not sure when
I didn't
that happened, that Andy was
I didn't
talking
either, I
about.
thought you said it got stole,
That's what Andy had told us, that's why there wasn't one out there now, but then when I emailed you, you said that you didn't know anything about it, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
There was an AED, it was over 20 years ago.
Okay. But, I mean, a lot of these things, I don't know what type of funding your association has, and I know we haven't, you know, done a lease completely with it. I mean, basically, I guess we're still operating on what we have.
Well, we have released you guys, we're also waiting for that signature as well. to
Yeah,
get
well,
that done,
we're
so.
still working on the existing one that's still in place.
Right,
So, but a new one, and we'll have to have some discussions, we hadn't got around to it. You know, but a lot of these things, I don't know how much of these things, you know, you said like that one was gonna get donated.
we're hoping to, yes.
I can't speak for all of us, but since we're all here, we can all speak. But I personally don't have a problem with things if you all pay for them and us approving. You know, like if you wanna build that fence and you all wanna collect the money and build that fence so the ball don't roll in the creek or in the bushes, I don't have a problem with that, and I don't think the guys here probably have a problem with that.
As far as the fence goes, like, you put that fence up there, next spring it's gonna flood and then you're not gonna have.
Creek's gonna wash it
So
out.
are you gonna look to us to replace it?
That fence is like way up, and I'm talking like the very, very back corner where it doesn't flood. The front corner floods all the time,
Right?
but the very back corner, it's like the highest field we have, those back two fields back there, and it doesn't flood back there.
So, but I mean, but basically, you know, what I'm saying is, if you guys want to invest your money in the park, by all means, you know, you need to run it by us, because we're responsible, ultimately. And, you know, we can make a call on, you know, different things as we go along. But I mean, like fixing the bathroom, you know, I can have maintenance fix that bathroom without us putting new stalls in. You know, your 7-year-old needs to just go in there and it works slick.
Like actual partitions, not park board, is that?
Well, if you gotta lift it up, it needs to be repaired, and I mean, we'll get
Those things
folks,
are big, heavy,
we'll get,
they're hard for kids to do.
you know, we could get folks on it, but, you know, $2,950, I guess 1360, was that the changing stations, or was that, you said the plastic?
Yeah, that's to do the plastic instead of like the metal, that way they would last like lifetime instead of the metal ones that would end up rotting out.
So is it 2950 plus 1360?
Yes,
All right, so you're looking at $5,000
yeah.
plus the installation.
Which Josh has said we can do the installation as well, that
Yeah.
we wouldn't have to pay that part of it, but
But if you all can, when you have your next meeting, evaluate different things that you can contribute to. And if
yes.
you don't have enough to do it all, come back to us so we can discuss it. Well,
Well, see, part of, no, part of the problem is that we have funds to do part of this. We've been asking companies to help sponsor things, like we are doing more than just coming here and asking you guys for tens of thousands of dollars, that's ridiculous. But our problem is that we don't have a current lease, so we feel like it's a bad business decision to be investing thousands of our own soccer money if we're not guaranteed to be there next year, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I know it's been Waterford Park, it's been soccer for years, I'm not saying that it's gonna get taken away from us, but as far as business decision goes, investing all of our money that we've made from doing all this work with soccer towards this park that is a public park, and then next year, for whatever reason, somebody decides, nope, we're gonna take that and go build houses there, you know what I mean? Like it's,
yeah,
then all
well,
our money's gone.
that can't happen on that park. It has to be a park. If it doesn't stay a park, it goes back to the family that donated it.
Yes.
But I understand, it wouldn't be right for y'all to invest in the next year.
Yes.
Softball's there and you're not.
I think we need to have further discussions and try to iron out some kind of lease agreement, because you guys want a lease agreement in order to invest. Us, on the other hand, we're always fighting the other people to say, we lease it to the soccer people. Now, the soccer people think that they own the public park, so nobody else can enjoy the park because soccer thinks they own it. So we have to figure out where the line is where we can all get along together. I want soccer to be there as long as soccer wants to be there, but we can't make sure, but we still have to make sure we don't exclude, the other 50% of people that don't care anything about soccer.
Well, and the lease states in there about that, we have, the use of the fields, the pavilion, the concession, the bathrooms during season.
Right.
So that's, how that goes, but we actually, the lease that we sent you guys to, the new lease that we're
I haven't
going
seen
to
the
do.
new one yet.
Okay, well, we extended, it used to be like a 1-year lease, and we've extended it to hopefully do a 10-year lease, because if we have a long-term lease, we can apply for grants from US Soccer and get grant money from them, but they won't give us grant money if we are only there for a year.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll ever agree on a 10-year lease.
Well-
That's pretty long. Well, so US Soccer won't give it on a 5-year lease?
Not that we found, no. We are still investigating that and trying to figure out what the details are of it, but I mean, right now, we kind of had to put that on the back burner as we're getting season going, But everything we found, it looked like it had to be a long-term lease for them to grant us any kind of money.
Yeah, well, but
Right.
I would think, in my opinion, I'd love to give you all this money, to go to the park, but we do have a budget,
Right,
and maybe through your committee, put one of these as a priority,
right.
because we have spent a pile of money down there.
If we can
And
figure out-
asphalt's $50,000.
If we can figure out something with a lease, then that's what I would suggest, is try to make a prioritized list, and we may start trying to pluck off maybe 1 or 2 things a
Right.
year. I mean, I know that, 220 kids, that's a lot of kids, but I know, even if the registration, fee is what, like $50 or something?
$85 per player.
Well, at $50, it's like $11,000 just for each figure. So I know that you all do have a little bit of money. We would like to supplement that and work
Right.
with you. But at the same time, we're providing the ground and the pavement and paying the water bill and the electric bill. We can't go full bore either.
Yes.
And assume 100% of
We got 2 other
responsibility.
parks.
And we got another part too.
Right.
And I just don't want to assume 100%, but I'm with you and I want to make improvements. So if we can put something together with this lease in the next couple months, maybe with your association working with the judge's office, and you guys reach an agreement, then we can try to work out partial funding, pulling both our funds together to make something happen on a prioritized list.
Right, and that's
what I
100%,
think.
that sounds great to me. I just wanted to bring all this info to you, that we are doing our homework, we're getting quotes, we're asking companies to sponsor things. I mean, we're not coming here asking you guys for everything. We're just putting this all out there, that this is what we're asked, this is what we're looking to do, this is how much it's costing. These are things that we want to do out there. see what you guys are on board with, what you're not, what you're willing to help with, what you have, you know, like I said, I don't know what you guys have in budget for that.
Well, I don't think you said anything that I'm like, well, that's not needed. I mean, it's not, you know, I've heard of this, you know, I can see where it'd be, you know, a nice improvement to the
Right.
park. But I think we should start plucking things off one at a time, we can't
Right.
drop.
I can tell you, we don't have enough in our budget to pay for any one thing you got here.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We got $800 in there, I think.
Yeah, well, I guess that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, it's gonna take some time, work through the lease agreements, some other things, and then if we decide we wanna pull something to put, like, even if we could give them $500 to go with the cheapest thing, that'd be something for this year that we work on next year, you know?
Right.
Well, I'll plan to,
The inspection took care of most of
the
the.
striping and, I mean, you are aware, we are building a third park. It's actually,
Yes.
I call it Rachel 2.0.
Rachel 2.0, yeah.
Yeah, out here, and, you know, we're gonna plan to be putting some more rock in. We've got our engineer here, we have plans to go under the bridges to connect the two. And, I mean, we learned a year ago, the problem was, we didn't have enough fields.
Yeah.
But yet the county owned that land, so now we've got fields.
Yeah.
We're making fields. So as far as, I feel comfortable with us being able to do a lease agreement with soccer at Waterford, because when slow pitch softball comes, Waterford's taken, but here's 2.0.
Right.
You know, have at it.
Yeah.
So, but I'll bring the lease agreement, if you need to do any updates to it before we meet next month. We'll meet
In 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks. Yeah, that's still next month, but, yeah, we're not meeting on Labor Day, we're meeting on Wednesday morning,
Okay.
I believe. So that'll be our next meeting, whatever day that is, but I'll have the lease to present to the board.
That'd be the 4th.
Fourth, all right, so we'll do it then.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Lawson, would you like to come up?
Sure.
Or you want to stay till breakfast?
Hey, y'all doing?
You'd rather not?
Seems like a happy night.
It is. I know what,
Got some coffee.
on page 63
It's a go.
is your presentation, I guess.
Yes, I'm gonna, I'd like to present our tax rates that the
Okay.
board set at our meeting, but I wanted to give you a little information about what we're doing, what's new. Hi, Zach. Hello, how are you?
And I want to tell the community, if you haven't been in our library, you need to go in our library. We have such an asset there, that they've got internet, it's nice and comfortable. See you, Karen, see you, I appreciate you coming. Go ahead, Ms. Lawson.
Yeah, we've got some great things going on inside and outside. We don't stay in the library, you know. Used to be librarians were like in the silo of the library. And we stayed in the library and people came to us, and we don't do that anymore. We don't shush either. Well, our patrons shush us because we're the loudest people in the library, generally, because we get excited about things. At our last meeting, the Spencer County Public Library Board accepted the compensating rate and adopted that. And the compensating rate for real property is 4.3, which is if you have a $100,000 house, your taxes are $43 on just the library. And it's the same as it was last year, did not go up. We were kind of worried about the Shelby County thing, about losing property. But the personal property rate actually went down to 11.99, and last year it was 13.05. And motor vehicle rate, of course, that always stays the same, like whatever it was in 1982, that's what you get, that's what you're, that's as high as you could go. And but we've taken the compensating rate for 14 years. In fact, one year we didn't even take the compensating rate. We just kept the same rate, because when things are tough, we get that. And also, we've lowered the personal property rate before, just because we thought it was getting too high. There's something in the formula with a personal property rate, where when you start with real property, and you've got the personal property tax rate, and that formula, the personal property keeps going this way, and the other goes this way. So it's one to really watch, and it's one to really take down when it's necessary to take it down. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer, and if I don't know the answer, I'll track it down like a dog.
This report is really good. I like that it's put out. I didn't realize y'all were checking out. Y'all had hotspots you could check out up there. It's
Oh, yeah.
great.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
They're so popular.
Yeah.
They're so popular.
I'd say it is.
They have a great meeting room. They have I call it the Kentucky History Room, I guess.
Oh, yeah, it's a
Spencer County
Kentucky room.
History Room. And I've mentioned about going on YouTube and watching your videos where they interview particular folks around the county. A lot of them are, I guess, our experienced generation. That some of the older folks in the community that have been around a long time go on the Spencer County Public Library on YouTube, and they'll start popping up. Dr. Skaggs and Larry Lawson's on there, Davis Lee Downs, Greg Murphy. They're about a half hour, and they're quite interesting. So
Jenny
check them
Thomas
out.
is coming up.
Okay.
He's coming into the library tomorrow, so we're really excited we finally got him. But we can't, that's one going camera, so that's okay.
Okay.
So we weren't any Thomas.
All right. Well, we
So-
thank you.
But thank you very much, and
Yes.
thanks for putting this to the top of the agenda. It's so sweet.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
You're very welcome.
On behalf of the voters of Spencer County, I want to thank you and the board for allowing us to use your facility to vote in.
Oh, yeah, we're so excited about that. When we have early voting, when we work with the voting and county clerk, people come in the library that have never been in there before. And sometimes when there's a line, they'll walk in and they kind of go, I had no idea. I had no idea this was good. Like, took you long enough to come.
Yeah.
For sure. Thank you. And your staff is great. So thank you.
All right, thank you. I know, Jeff, would you like to come ahead?
Sure.
I feel a little naked. I usually have my PowerPoint hooked up to the TV, but I don't think we're able to do that tonight, so I'm going to use my phone for some notes. Thank you for having me, folks. My name's Jeff with Net Recovery. Net Recovery is a medical device company. We've been doing research here in Kentucky for about 15 years on a newly approved, I should say cleared FDA medical device. Prior to our approval, if someone wanted to get off of opioids, they go to a rehab center, and they had two choices. You could basically take a different drug, or you could just go cold turkey and experience some pretty awful withdrawal symptoms, I should say. When we got cleared, we were a new option. This device, it's about the size of a cell phone. It's got some wires that come off, it connects to little sticky pads, goes right behind the ears on the mastoids, and it's sending these little micro electrical pulses from a 9-volt battery through this box with some software programming. And it's stimulating the back of the brain called the nucleus accumbens. That part of the brain is a pleasure center. It regulates things like dopamine and the body's reward system. That's something that gets really screwed up when a person becomes an opioid addict. Their body produces less dopamine, the body becomes less sensitive to dopamine, and when you take away their drugs, they feel terrible. They'll have diarrhea, cramps, they can't sleep, muscle aches, sweats, pupils dilated, headaches, they're nausea, wanting to throw up. You slap this device on them, it brings those symptoms down. They start to have a clear mind. They start to feel a little more relaxed, a little more comfortable. That's good because it keeps them in rehab. If anyone knows who Van Ingram is, kind of the Kentucky drug czar, I spoke with him not too long ago, and he told me right now across the state of Kentucky, the washout rate is 60% in 4 days, which means you take 100 people, stick them in rehab, 60 of them are gone, in less than 96 hours because they can't stand the withdrawals. This keeps them there. The other thing it does is even more exciting, because the truth is those medications, methadone and Suboxone, will bring people comfort, but they themselves are addictive drugs. This device will take people's cravings away. So they're able to focus on the programming that the rehab has to handle problems like their legal troubles, relationship troubles, financial, housing, how to deal with stress, all the things that always accompany a person who's struggling with addiction. And we're seeing that when you combine the power of the net device with an organization, for example, like Isaiah House, which is who we're currently partnering with, they do a great job at those surrounding services, but that programming doesn't do anything to get rid of drug craving. And apart from more drugs, that programming doesn't do anything to get rid of withdrawal symptoms. So it's the combination of the net device with this programming that we're seeing really sets people up for success. We just got cleared in May of 2024, so we're less than 3 months in. We are seeking funding because we are not yet approved by Medicaid. We believe we will be, but that's probably a 2-year process. It's just like another federal government agency. You got to jump through all their hoops and satisfy all their requirements. And we could hit pause and just work on that process, but we want to treat as many people as we're able while we're working through that process. Once that process is complete, the gate will be wide. It'll be available to many more people, but as it stands today, we're only available by private pay. But as we know, most people who are in need of this type of help, they don't have money to pay for this. 90% of them are on Medicaid. We're seeking opioid settlement funds to sponsor people from this county. So I do this a lot. I go to different counties. We have 7 county partners right now, including 2 neighboring counties, Bullitt and Shelby County. Other nearby counties that are partnering with us are Franklin and Meade, in addition to Scott County, Lincoln County, and Letcher County, which is way out east. The cost per treatment is $5,500. If you got no money, that is a ton of money. If you got $1 million, that's not much. If you look at what a person who struggles with OUD, opioid use disorder, costs society, it's not that much. The low end of estimates are that it costs upwards of $60,000 per person per year, just for the fact that they're struggling. When you add up law enforcement, EMS, jail, child care, loss of productivity, and that doesn't even include, if God forbid, they overdose and pass away. We are asking any county who's interested in partnering with us to be willing to sponsor 5 to 10 people for this treatment. That might not seem like a lot of people, but 5 to 10 changed lives is quite significant. And we feel like if we can get 30 or 40 counties across the state to do that, that will be a large group of people that we can show that this treatment can be the new standard. Right now, we're the new kid on the block, and while the FDA has seen fit to declare us safe and effective, it sometimes takes time for new technologies to be thought of as normal, and so that's the stage we're in here. So for consideration at a later time would be for you guys to consider using some of your opioid settlement money to sponsor a few people to do this. We say give us your worst. Not mean that's disrespectful to the people, but the people who struggle the most, the people who need the most help, and we feel confident we can show you a real transformation. It's a pay-as-you-go, it's not an upfront expense. The county pays upon completion of treatment and only if treatment is completed. If for whatever reason a person bails on the treatment or they say this doesn't work, I don't like it, then that's not something that we bill for. If the county pays for 5 people, we give them 5 people that it worked well for. So, yeah, that's most of my little pitch. I did want to take just a few minutes for you to get to hear from someone who's had personal experience with the net device. My colleague, Rebecca Munch, she'll just give you a few minutes of testimony.
Hi.
Thank you.
My name is Rebecca Munch, and I do want to tell you that the person that you see today is completely different than the person that you would have met 3 years ago. A big part of the reason that I am both alive and speaking to a
fiscal court and not a criminal court is because I use the net device. I just give you guys a little bit of my recovery journey. The first time that I went to rehab was for alcohol. I did not have a drug problem. When I went into that rehab, I had a job, I had my own place, I had a car, I didn't have any criminal history, I had a relationship with my family. I just had a really serious alcohol problem that I had to get a hold of. While I was in that treatment center, I ended up meeting a lot of drug addicts, which I'm sure is shocking. And the majority of them had prescriptions to Suboxone, which is like the standard MOUD for opioid use disorder. When you are not an opiate user and you take Suboxone, it gets you really high. So that was the first opioid that I had ever used. And it really wasn't long after I tried that I started using other things. So I moved on to heroin, fentanyl, pills, and honestly, it's really hard to have a job and a home and a relationship with your family and no criminal history when you're using substances like that. So it really didn't take me long to lose everything. I was homeless, I had lost all touch with my family, I was in and out of jail, in and out of rehab. My mom had constantly been sending me treatments and rehabs and different things, and she had told me about the net device. And I was in California, by the way. She had told me about the net device, and when she had first told me about it, it was happening only overseas. So I was like, okay, great. And then she ended up telling me about a week later that they were doing it in Kentucky. She said, if I can get you there, will you go? I had to take a serious look at my current situation, which was not good. I was on the run from the law for about a year and a half. Like I said, I was homeless. I had overdosed just the day before for about who knows how many times. The situation was not good. I was going to end up in prison or dead. So in that moment, I just basically was like, yeah, let's do it. I was on a plane, and Isaiah House picked me up the next day, and I ended up using the net device. And it had a profound impact on my life. This was not my first time in treatment. It was about my 9th time in treatment. So I already knew what to expect with the withdrawals and the detox and the cravings and all of that. Really, within about an hour of putting the device on, I started to feel better. I wasn't sweating as much. My legs stopped shaking a million miles a minute. I stopped yelling at everybody. Things started, I wasn't 100% at all. There was still progress to be made, but I was feeling better. And then by day 3, it was like nothing at all, which is unheard of for an opiate user, honestly. Usually it's like, it could take up to 2 weeks for somebody to get through that detox. And when you're sending people to a 28-day program, and they're spending 2 weeks of it feeling like they're gonna die, then they're not really absorbing much from that program. So what the net device did for me was it allowed me to jump into the actual healing that still needed to be done, because the healing is so much more than just the detox and the cravings that you're going through. You have to learn coping mechanisms. You have to learn how to deal with the trauma that you've been through. There's so much more that goes into it. And so really what it did for me was let me really get into that instead of focusing so much on the detox of it. After I used it, I had used it while I was in the clinical trial phase, so I wanted to tell everybody about it, and I couldn't because it wasn't available to everybody. Now that it has been FDA cleared, I just want everybody to get the opportunity that I did. It has been such a blessing to me, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity. So we need some more options for people, because obviously the options that we have right now are not working. People are still dying. So I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know we spoke about this last meeting, Jeff, and there was interest, and that's why I invited you back tonight to just discuss and give us some more information. I know you mentioned 5 to 10.
Yeah.
And I mean, the amount of money we have, we had talked about, we never landed anywhere, but there was discussion about, 5 to 10. And
What's the price on that? $5,500.
$5,500.
That would be 27.5 to 55K.
I think the important thing to take away from Jeff's presentation is that if somebody doesn't complete the program, us as the county owes nothing. So I really don't think we we have much to lose here.
I'd be happy to put it in a motion to do enough money for 5 people and
Hey, take my phone.
It's gotta be approved by DLG before you can do it. If it's a single source provider, you would have to have a contract approved by DLG before you can do it.
Yeah, normally I would, if you guys are feeling good about it, I'll send you a purchase agreement reviewed by legal, and then you would vote on the agreement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can still,
Yeah,
Right, you
we
can
can
vote
make a
if you want to
motion
do it,
that,
look into it, but you
look into
can't
it.
enter the contract
we
without
can't enter
DLG
into the
approval.
contract.
Yeah,
I just wanted to caution you for that.
I make a motion that, us as, fiscal court, pursue trying to, come to an agreement, with net recovery, for $27,500 with the hopes of, 5 people.
yeah, 5 people that use an opioid
And
fund.
using opioid funds pending the review of and approval of DLG and county attorney's office.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion by Mike, seconded by Will, to pursue 5 folks at $27,500, contingent upon approval by DLG and the county attorney office for 5 Spencer County folks that are in need of help, basically. All right, any discussion? I would like to ask Chris and Robert, our EMS directors are back here, the EMS director and assistant, and then our deputy sheriff here. And then, of course, Cheryl works with the folks in court. And, I mean, do you, I don't know how, and I don't need to know how, but I guess, but, you know, to make sure that Spencer County residents and folks that have the need that could be successful, I don't know how you make that grade, kind of how you was describing, but.
Yeah, so we have, Rebecca actually we just hired her, we treated her, how long ago was it? How many years ago?
It's almost 3 years ago.
3 years ago, but we hired her, I don't know, 2 months ago, when we got FDA cleared, and that's her job. She will work with whatever county official wants to be involved in that,
Okay.
to help locate the people in your county who
Okay.
y'all think this is who we want.
So collectively, our EMS director, our deputy sheriff, and our county attorney could come up with those folks.
Yep.
Okay. All right, that's.
Y'all welcome to be as involved or not involved as you want. Some counties say, here's money, you do it. Some counties say, we want to be in every involved, and we're happy with that. We're providing a service, we're not trying to make you do work, but we want you to do.
I think being a smaller kind of close-knit community, I mean, I think that the people that work in our emergency services would probably be a great resource to supply certain names or whatever of people that would be good applicants for this, and then, put it to you, and then let Rebecca go through and out of that list, make a selection that would best fit your program.
Yeah, the advantage to the county that we prefer is for you to be more involved, because if you are involved in the process of selecting them, then you can follow up with them. If we just find them ourselves, it's a little dicey for us to say, hey, so-and-so over there, we treated because of HIPAA stuff. But if you know before they go in, it's not a problem, because you already know them.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And again, if you guys haven't watched that movie, The Final Fix on Netflix.
Amazon Prime.
Is it on Amazon Prime?
Yes.
All right, my bad. But it's worth watching, because it takes place right over here at the Isaiah House and so forth. But, all right, we have a motion on the floor. Any other
Judge, you could
discussion?
just have the motion amended and say in conformance with the procurement act. But the contract would be in conformance with it.
Okay, if the motion or seconder is in agreement with that, general consent, we'll add that to the motion.
Yep, I'm good.
All right. Yeah.
This unit, will it work on alcoholism? Will it work on depression? Will it work on mourning of a lost loved one? Not just opioid addiction?
It'll work on most substance addiction, so alcohol, stimulants like methamphetamines, opioids, nicotine, but we're only FDA cleared for opioids. What that means in practice is we can do that, but we're not allowed to. So the way I don't want to say get around it, but as long as someone tests positive with a urinary drug screen for opioids, if they have one of those other problems, then we'll also treat them for that. Yeah, with the exception of alcohol, we won't do that because if you stop alcohol cold turkey, someone could just die. It can be
The
dangerous.
risk of seizure is too high. But if somebody is say they're a fentanyl and methamphetamine user, which happens often, we can treat for both the fentanyl and the methamphetamine. Same with cocaine, THC, xylazine is a really big one that we're seeing a lot right now.
MDMA.
Yeah, MDMA.
Do they have to test positive at the time they enter your program?
Yes.
They do.
So they have to be, it has to be kind of like when you go into recovery.
Yes.
When they go into treatment, they don't test positive, then they don't.
Correct. Yeah, they would need to be in active addiction, and yeah.
And the second part of Jim's question, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but I'm assuming that it does not address any kind of psychological behavior, issues like depression or anything.
No, we haven't seen that.
What I can say though, honestly, is it doesn't necessarily treat anxiety and depression, but a lot of people will come into treatment and they say that they've been diagnosed with both of those things, but really they've self-diagnosed, and that's because their life is so unmanageable and out of control that of course they have a lot of anxiety, of course they're depressed, and so when they start to actually take away some of those things and things start to fall in place and their life starts to become more manageable, a lot of that anxiety and depression is alleviated. For clinical depression, it's not something that we treat, but yeah.
I have just a quick question out of curiosity, but when they wear this device, and say you're in treatment for, I think you said 28 days or something, I mean, do they wear that the whole time, or is this just gets you past the first month?
Yeah, they'll wear it. They'll wear it as long as they want to wear it. So if you put it on, it would kind of be annoying. It wouldn't be soothing. It's soothing to a person who's experiencing withdrawals.
So they'll kind of wean themselves off that.
That's right.
But it's up to 7 days.
Yeah.
So at 7 days, no matter what, the treatment will be completed. But for everybody, it's a little bit different. It kind of depends on what they're using, how long they've been using it. For something like methadone, which is like really strong on the receptors, it would probably be the full 7 days. For fentanyl, we're usually seeing like 3 to 5 days. But again, it kind of depends on the person, but it'll be anywhere from 3 to 7 days, 7 days being the longest.
What kind of follow-up treatment after 7 days?
Well, I'm sorry, thank you. They will still be in the program. They will still be in the program at Isaiah House, which they operate on phase programming. So like, really, ultimately, the intention is that they stay for long-term treatment, because really with the issues that most of us have when we're entering treatment, it takes a little bit longer than 28 days to start working through that stuff. But the treatment will continue with Isaiah House once the treatment was met.
So they have to be in Isaiah House?
Right now, yeah, we're
full-time?
For inpatient. So if you have a local outpatient, then we could work, but Isaiah House is, we're basically, you could look at it this way, Isaiah House has an 8-week in residential program, and we're week 1 of that. Basically, we're handling the physical part of addiction, withdrawals and cravings. The other 7 weeks are meant to handle all those auxiliary things that they, and Isaiah House has an outpatient program, but if there was, say, a local, I don't know if there is, but if there's a local Spencer County outpatient type of thing, then, oh, there's not, okay. Well, if there was, then they could work with them for the outpatient portion.
So when do y'all decide it's successful? At the end of that 8 weeks? Or at the end of the 7 days?
At the end of the 7 days, because they'll tell us, my cravings are gone, this thing, I mean, if you get 1 or 2 reactions, no one goes 7 days and says, that didn't work for me, I don't like this. If some people do feel that way, we know within 24 hours. After 24 hours, they'll be like, I don't like this, I want drugs, give me Suboxone, give me methadone. So if they make it to 7 days, they're good to go.
The biggest issue that we run into, honestly, is Suboxone and methadone have been the only things that have been available to people for so long, and most of these people have been using substances for so long that is what they're used to. So it's not even necessarily that the drug is what, is like fixing them, but like just the act of taking something to make them feel better is what is working for them, you know? And so they'll have the device on and you can tell that it's working for them, you can see that it's working for them, and they'll be like, no, I don't want it, just give me some oxygen, because it's what they know, and it's what brings them comfort, you know? So like, that's really the thing the biggest issue that we'll run into with it, but.
Can I ask one more question? How do you deal with situational tolerance? Like with heroin, when you go back to the place that you use heroin,
Yeah,
your respiration rate, your heart rate,
Yeah.
everything says, I need heroin.
Yeah.
Because you're back in that, how does your device
That's where,
address situational tolerance?
so is that what, I would, would that be like craving more?
that's
Okay,
where Isaiah House comes into play, because that's how they learn how to deal with the triggers, you know, and all of the, because the thing that the net device does is it takes away the physical craving. I haven't had a single physical craving for opiates since I've used it. That's not to say that life hasn't come back and, you know, something emotional has happened to me, like, those things will happen. And so that's really, really, really
Go
why.
back to the location that you used them.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, I have, many times. But that is why we really, really, really try to stress how important it is to stay in treatment. It's because the net device is not the cure, and it's not, you're not going to be fixed after a 7-day treatment. There's so much more that goes into it. So like, even like using it and then going to an outpatient, like that would scare me, you know, because there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, but.
Yeah, it won't keep people from going back to drugs. It keeps them from being internally pulled back. If they walk, they can go do it again if they want. But the people that I'm aware of that we've treated and that I would say it worked and they ended up using drugs again is a small percentage. And in every case, it was never, well, did your cravings pull you? No. In every case, it's like, my dog died, my grandma died, I got a divorce, I lost my, the same kind of thing that made them take it the first time is what brought them back.
There was a trigger.
Yes. Whereas if you have a physical craving, you don't need a trigger, you just want it. So that's kind of the
like,
difference.
the thing that we always say is like it restores choice. You know, like everybody when they wake up in the morning has that choice of whether or not they're going to use drugs. Really, an addict that is in the throes of addiction doesn't really have that choice anymore because they're just completely physically and mentally dependent on it. So what the net device does is it gives them back that option, you know, and some of them do choose to do it again. But at least now it's not because they're
Most
just
don't.
completely.
I think that if we get one person out of these 5 that similar to you, then it's a success.
You'll be happy, especially if you guys work to send people that you know. You'll be screaming on the mountaintops to the state and federal government for me, saying you need to do this.
Yeah,
That's how.
To see the change in people is amazing.
You can talk to, you know, Charlie Metzger. I think his son-in-law's your jailer, maybe. Here? Yeah. I think it's
Charlie Metzger?
Shelby County, Shelby County?
Yeah, he's in Shelby County. He was a magistrate. I think his son-in-law's a jailer, maybe not, but you can talk to him about it. Trying to think of other people who might know. There's people that have seen it in action.
On page 70, it's jeff.lott@netrecovery.net. Is that how, if these guys want to email you a
Yes.
question?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then I'm sure if they have a question that you can pass it on to her.
I sure can.
Do y'all have booklets or pamphlets for law enforcement EMS to hand out?
We're working on it. I'm hoping in the next 30 days. We're a small family-owned company. We're not a huge pharmaceutical company. There's like 12 of us. Several of us don't even actually get paid right now because we got day jobs and we do this on the nights and weekends. So every penny that we get is spent towards paying and hiring staff at the line level to treat people. So we're working on stuff slowly as we can.
Is there any HIPAA violation with the county recommending?
No, not as long. The only HIPAA violation would be if, let's say someone showed up to Isaiah House on their own merit without the county knowing, and then we're gonna treat them, and I come to you and say, hey, we treated, I would just give you a number, and you say, well, we wanna know who it is, and I'm like, well, I can't tell you that. If you guys are involved in the process of sending them, then you know who it is, you have the right to ask them whatever you want, follow up with them however
And
you
it's
want.
all voluntary, you know, like it's not obviously something that we would not be allowed to do with like
have the county force people to get treatment, you know, anything like that, so they're voluntarily requesting it.
For the sake of time, I think if everybody says, I'd like to call a question on the motion and proceed with the vote.
All right, question has been called for, we'll go ahead and proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion on the floor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We will get the documents.
Who you gonna email it to?
Research. Okay. Go ahead.
Who should I email that to? I'll do it tomorrow.
Probably the county attorney, start there.
We'll do it.
So, you can send it to our office if need be, we can get it to him. So,
Pass your email on that.
yeah, she's writing it for you.
All right.
We appreciate you guys coming, and we have faith that we can get some people some
Thank you for your
needs.
time.
Well, thank you all. This is good. And that young man that spoke earlier was, he really, when I told his aunt, when I told his aunt about, what this was, he's told her he wanted to come and tell his story.
Yeah.
So.
And he's doing great things too, he sees the necessity, so.
Right.
It's good to keep doing this kind of thing.
Yeah, well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
All right.
Looking forward to some positive stuff. Ms. Clifford, would you like to come?
Sure. I've been learning so much, I almost forgot what I was here to talk about. I'm learning a lot of new things.
Well, what we've got, you guys, on our agenda under old business G number 3, well, it's on the agenda, basically, but, let's see. Some of her stuff starts on like page 96, I think.
And Scott, just as a point of reference,
Yeah.
when we got them speaking during the communications for citizens, you went straight to call on the person from the soccer association. I don't know if there was anybody else from, you didn't ask if there was anybody else, I don't recall.
Oh, in the crowd?
That wanted to address this. So-
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I was on that point, sorry.
That's fine.
I saw Mr. Manley back there, so I didn't know if he was here to talk to us or not.
Yeah, well, I know you come in just a little late, but not much late. Do you want to address us or
No,
just in attendance?
I'm just here to watch.
All right, well, thank you. Appreciate you coming.
I was looking out for you, buddy.
Thanks.
I think page 96. No? Where they started.
heavy bridge or the?
Yeah, which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, there's several things that, if you know what they are, just jump in and we'll mark them off.
Well, Brittany had told me to be prepared to give an update on the Old Hetty Road Bridge project.
Yes, we'll do that.
And then a little bit about what you all call 2.0 rate.
Yeah.
I call it regional
Yeah.
path, but we'll just jump in and talk about, I'm sorry, Andrea Clifford, and I'm with QK4. We're a consultant engineering firm that does work with the county. And the first project to talk about is the Old Hetty Road Bridge Replacement Project.
Page 71, okay.
The county got a grant from FEMA, hazard mitigation grant, to do replacement of that bridge. And our company has been working on that project. We had developed the design plans, and every step of the way, when we were going through it, we would submit our 30% plans, 60%, all the way up to 90% to make sure that we were on the path that you all wanted. So the design plans are complete. We've been working on the environmental analysis part as well. We've done, archaeological review, historical review, didn't find any conflicts there. The biological for fish and wildlife, we haven't found any conflicts there. The last piece that we're doing, we've been working with Julie Sweezy on the floodplain permit. She put the notice in the paper. I think the 30 days, the last portion of that ends on August 30th, so we gotta wait and see if we had any comments or not. Once we have that, we will package all of that together. We have to send it to FEMA, the environmental documents and the design portion, we can go ahead and send to them. And then we have our right-of-way staff is going to be reaching out and begin that process. There's 2 parcels that are part of the project, not like any major acquisition, but there would have to be some easements, maybe a little bit of property taken to do this bridge work. So that's kind of where we're at. As far as when we would actually start construction, we're hoping for the spring or summer of next year. It's really going to depend on what the review by FEMA of all the environmental documents and everything is that takes place as part of that.
I know we had I'll call it I'll call it a little hiccup.
Yeah.
There was cost estimates on moving the water line,
Yes.
and they were quite expensive. I know there's in your book is one, and then we got a new one. I'll pass this around. It's a little cheaper, a little less money than what the original one was. I think I got one for everybody. But it doesn't cut the cost down a whole lot, but it does save maybe $40,000. But, originally the cost was 10% of what the entire bridge cost. And I thought that was alarming. And so I raised a question about it, and I guess you guys did a little work on it, and we came back with this revision of cost.
Right, there's another company that does the water line relocation design for the city, for the city water company. That's not what we got, but we've been talking with them because we've developed the design plans, but that's the company that the city uses for all of their water line relocation projects. So they had submitted their first number, and then they've come back with these revised numbers as well. It is above what we had budgeted. We had budgeted to do the design of the water line relocation, not aware that that would end up falling to someone else through the city, but we talked with them about it, and the numbers are coming down some. As far as how to get that into our costs, I know Eric has sent an email to you about using some of the administrative fees. I think there's $1,000 like legal fee, and there's a $4,000 fee in that estimate, and that could be used out of the QK4 budget where we had budgeted for design of the water line relocation. And then the remaining portion, the difference, we can always talk to our contact at FEMA to see if that's something that we can ask them for the additional money to cover that. That's something that we can do.
Is this something that the city is requiring?
Well, we do have to relocate the water line.
Right.
The city uses a different company to design all of their water line relocations.
Different engineering company.
Right, but could QK4 submit that to the city and say, we can do it for X amount of dollars and use Fiscal? Or whoever it is.
I don't know even how to, I don't know if you can answer that. I mean, it's kind of a wait and see.
It's our right of way, but it's their water line, so.
Yes.
That's kind of
Sums it up.
right.
I wonder if there are not, some of these fees, like says city admin fees and towes or water legal fees. I think maybe the city towes would waive those fees for the county, put a bridge in.
But
Record, that wouldn't be too much to ask, would it? I'm not gonna hold my breath.
the best approach that we can take
I think
is,
probably the best approach is between the county and the city. I don't know that QK4.
okay.
They don't even get into
Right.
the
Right.
match. Yeah.
Right.
Right, I agree, but, I wanted to bring
They're
this
here
up.
to do a job, they're not here to.
That's right, but obviously, a little bit of your work has assisted getting the price lowered. And I'll talk to the city and see how else they could help us, because if it puts us over budget, I mean, we already had a guy drowned, washed off this washover. So, we'll try to come to a conclusion, but I guess as we go forward, you'll need to talk to FEMA and say, we have this expenditure. Of course, when they originally, because the previous administration started this for us, that they started talking about this bridge, and costs have went up since then. So surely FEMA understands that additional cost.
Well, I was getting ready to say, are we too far gone on this, or, could we go back to FEMA and say, this is part of the construction of the bridge, this has to happen to construct the bridge, we need you all to absorb this as part of your all's payment for it.
Yeah.
And that's what we would like to do, is that could be our first option, to say, hey, can we get some additional funding? This is an unforeseen issue, not knowing that the water line goes right through there, when we applied for the grant. So we can see that and see if they will pay those additional funds, and we can give them like a maximum amount that we think it's gonna be, and maybe you all get some of that waived in your discussions with the city.
Yeah.
My question to that whole thing too on that water line is I understand that we're gonna be doing construction, turning the bridge out. You know, yeah, it's gonna get damaged, but why do we have to do all this? What's the?
Is it new piers or something, probably where the water line goes?
Yeah.
All right, I have a question, it's not.
He said I'm an engineer, I'm not.
Okay.
I work with a whole bunch of
You're
people, and Eric couldn't
representing
come tonight, I'm
engineering
representing him tonight.
Yeah, go ahead, Will.
I've never been a part of us building a new bridge, but with all these costs, when they get all their engineering done, do you guys bid all this out and you're gonna say, here's 3 contractors, pick what you're doing?
We will help the county develop the construction documents so that you all send it out for bid. The county will be the
Yeah.
ones that will send it out, you know, put it advertised for bids, but we will help you develop the construction documents. I mean, we have the plans, the designs, but the actual contract documents, we've helped in the past on some other projects that you have done.
So on the city of Taylorsville part, Sisler and them are estimating this to be $117,000. In this bridge project, can we not hire someone to move that water line and then they'll saddle it in just like a new subdivision? If we have to use their company to move the water line, then you're 100%
It's their water line.
It's their water line.
Well, it's their water line everywhere out here, but people put a new line and then they tie into it.
Well, their engineer has to inspect it. Yeah.
And this is the, you know, runoff from the main too, it's a little bit different.
And I'm reading this, is this 220 feet long, but it's 140, I mean, so you've got 2 different amounts of linear feet. How many linear feet of line are we looking?
Like 220, probably.
That's what I'm looking at. And I was like, so 220 feet of line? Is that what it is?
Yeah, but it's different grade, like.
Plus, that's what made me think they put together.
Well, what we can do, I know Dan and I, since Dan represents Taylorsville, he and I are at a lot of the city meetings, and we'll just, I say we'll, Dan, I hate to be speaking for you, but we can go, we can go and I'll approach them and see how they can assist us on this, and I'll explain, as long as you guys agree with us doing that, and tell them about the cost and the monies that FEMA put out and the additional costs, and see if they can help us on it, and then we'll just continue from there. Basically, that's the only choice we have.
And in the meantime, we'll contact our rep, you know, our grant administrator, and ask her about, you know, possibly getting the additional funding. If they say no, our second thought is, if we're gonna ask them, if you all have to pay for this water line portion, can that be considered part of your match? Because you all do a 5.2% match on this project. It's like 90% federal, 4.8% state, and 5.2% county. And we're gonna ask them, can that be considered part of your match? Eric thinks that that's been done in the past on some things, and so, but the hope is that they will provide the additional funds for the water line relocation.
All right, well, thank you for that. That kind of sums up the Old Hidden Bridge portion, I guess. Y'all have any other questions, or we'll continue moving on? Go ahead with the next one.
So the Ray Jewell Park 2.0, the county had talked to us, we started on this actually last year, about building a pathway, a roadway and pedestrian pathway under the bridge on Kentucky 44 between the existing park over toward the property near the high school. And we started working on some plans for that, and we would have to get a permit through the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet to build something that was going to be near their, on their right-of-way, because it would go on their right-of-way underneath the bridge, being close to the bridge piers and everything. We started out meeting with their bridge maintenance engineers. Everybody was on board and good with it, and then we started getting in with their permits department, and we had some delays there, and they wanted to see more details, and they wanted various things. We finally got everything to them, and then comes back, well, there's gotta be an air rights agreement. And they were still tweaking their policy on that, and we had to wait a long time for them to send the new policy, and we finally got all of that signed. So I think it was last week we got the email that the permit has been approved for you all to be able to construct this vehicular and pedestrian path under 44 and connect those the two sections of the park. So the thought has been that the state transportation cabinet wants to know proof of liability insurance. And so it hadn't been decided at that point whether the county was going to build this roadway with their forces or if you were going to outsource it and set it out for bids. But they said they would be willing to accept proof of your county liability insurance in the meantime, but should you decide to outsource it, they would need proof of that company's liability insurance. And as for the permit, you know, pretty much everything's placed. There's a little bit of things that you will have to continue to do, like you will have to get a permit from the Division of Water for doing the work next to the stream. That will be part of that, and we can, you know, help on that as well if you need us to. But we had drawn up the plans and given them to them, and since our company's name is on the plans, we need to know when the work is scheduled to begin, because we'll come out periodically and visit the site.
If y'all look on page 96 in your book, that's kind of what I kind of thought was the best picture.
If it's not in color, it's harder to see because there's a lot of red lines.
Yeah, but it's kind of got a good sketch of where the road would probably lie.
I actually brought my colored copy.
Okay.
If anybody would like to see.
Yeah, if you'd like to just.
Okay, you've got a color one on your laptop and your.
Okay, I didn't know, me and Jim's got those black and white ones, so.
I'm a paper person too.
Yeah, thank you. Me too.
I thought this was just gonna be a walking path.
No, road, where cars can go.
Road and walking path.
See, that way.
Well, cars don't drive down that side of Ray Jewel, it's blocked off.
It won't be though.
It won't be when we hook it up.
So you're gonna widen that road or just leave it a little bit for the road?
No, we got to work on that side too, but that's not part of this. We'll have to work on that, and that's a whole nother discussion.
Why are we doing a 2-lane road under the bridge to the park?
Now the park has 2 exits, where before it only had 1 at the dollar store. Now it has 2.
We'll have to widen the existing road at Ray Jewel 1.0 to match this, right?
We have to grade a road at Ray Jewel 1.0.
Well, I guess that's what I'm saying. We gotta make a path that's comparative to this.
So that's beyond.
That's later on.
You know, right, this is just us getting under the bridge.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I see that, I mean, what I'm visualizing happening, and y'all can disagree with me, but, you know, we can hire somebody, just like we got somebody hired now working at 2.0 on the soil. We could hire somebody like that. We could get a road department to do it. We just have to turn in our life. We have to have proof of our insurance.
And which you did have, and we submitted that to the
Yeah.
state.
Now, Julie can take care of our Division of Water stuff. We're working near the creek. I know she can, because she's done it before. So, but I'm kind of seeing that maybe we get Todd in the road department.
How long is this section of road?
I mean, you can visualize it, you know, in this picture.
Well, the picture is just the section that goes under 44,
Right.
because only that's only the portion that we
With the
needed
permit.
for the
It's
permit.
just hard for me to judge on here, is it 500 feet, is it 1,000 feet?
Well, I mean, my biggest question is how long is the permit good?
How long it's good for, it is.
Because I'm assuming the way I kind of read through it, I mean, the part was we had a construction permit, and then we had to basically, after it was done, approved under specs, then we get reissued a permit for use.
This is what we got a permit
For
for.
use, I'll look into that.
When I was reading through there. That permit of use had to be on, I mean, look good there, had to be on site, on hand or something, the whole entire time.
Well, while they're doing the
While the
doing the
construction's going
construction.
on.
Who had to be on
What's that again?
You have to have a permit
I was asking,
on site.
I read through there and I seen something about that we have pretty much, we've been granted a work permit to get, for being permitted to let the work happen and all that, but then we're gonna get issued another permit. I just wondered how long the work permit was good for, if there was a duration time on that.
Yeah, I was curious about that too. That's why I thought I'd go ahead and get on it, just try to get on it this fall.
Well, I don't disagree with that, I'm just curious.
And, you know, at least get the brush away and,
Well, I mean, if you
maybe
start
get the
the,
rock down.
if you start the work,
You almost got
is there gonna be a completion date on to it? Do we have, which that's a good thing, we got Andrew here, but,
Can you put a picture of this permit on here? I'd say it says.
yeah, it's on.
Yeah, the permit and everything is in your
Yeah,
packet.
that's what I
It
figured.
spells that out right here.
It's about 91 somewhere in that area.
The actual permit is 80, it starts on 85,
I'm going.
encroachment permit.
So all these specifications from, on this permit, is this specifications from the Department of Transportation, correct?
Yes.
So,
But basically, you know, and we're gonna have Mago at our animal shelter pave it. And if they don't pave this fall, they'll pave next spring. So ideally, while we got Mago in there paving, if we do it next spring, we can,
It's on there, so.
yeah, we can pave this part next spring.
What was that? No, that's.
And there is some specific,
Depths.
depths and classes of asphalt that they have to
Yeah,
use. That was something
Maybe it's that CL2.
that wasn't like the standard permit language. Most of it's their standard permit language, but they did put that in there.
Yeah, a lot of it's just them saying whatever, but I was just curious about that. That's all.
I'll find out about how long it is good for, because we had a similar question when we were going through it initially about
Because if
that.
they say, well, it's only good for a year, your work permit's only good for a year.
A lot of times you,
This project here is not something, this is going, it'll take a minute to get it going. They're gonna have to do an environmental study, that'll take a few months to get that completed.
It shouldn't, Julie. Hadn't that part all been done with the permit? You just said we'll have to have a proof of environmental division of water.
I know at our house.
you have to do the county has to do that with Division of Water, that's separate from being with KYTC.
I know our bridge got held up in front of my house for 3 months while they were studying the crawdad population.
That's because they digging in the creek. We ain't digging in the creek.
The visual water study, the visual water permit is different from the study, the environmental study. It's two different things.
And it's basically gonna be about using their best management practices to keep erosion from going into the stream, you know, showing that.
Let's not spend too much of our arrowheads.
Hopefully not. But anyhow, all right, any other questions on this part? I mean, we don't have anything to vote on either of these two, it's just mostly for information.
Well, I think, do you need us to, you need to have an answer on how we're gonna do it, we're gonna use the company or?
Yes, we will.
So,
I mean, and that doesn't have to be tonight.
She turned in our liabilities for now.
Right, so for now, the permit is approved because they've got your liability insurance, but if you are not using,
if we're not gonna use the road department, we're gonna hire a private.
you're gonna have another construction company do it, then we'll, the state will want to see their proof of liability
And
insurance.
we'll probably have to bid it out if we hire somebody for what the whole cost will be.
Yeah.
Because procurement will be over that level.
Correct. And so you could just, let us know that when we,
If you all remember, what we've done at Ray Jewel 2.0 so far, I think was about 25,000. We put all that rock from all the way up front, all the way back there to where we are, and that was Todd and them doing the work and the felt paper.
This is gonna be 100 grand? Probably, 150. We got our inches of base, then you got another 4 inches of base. I saw that. That's the surface, and you got 4 inches of.
Of course, that's required under the part that's on the right of way.
There's 11 inches just.
The part that's on the right of way.
That's a pretty big area.
Yes.
I don't know, that's like,
you're not required to do that
On
on
our
portions
part.
on your property.
No, but you're still looking at 1,000, 1,200 foot of 11 inches of asphalt on top of all the prep and base rock.
No, I think it's more like 500.
Be less
If
than
you look at that picture of the right of way, can you see that in
It's
our
on,
pictures?
it's on, well, it's on the.
It's got like a line through it. That's
What
the
is
only
the
part
right of
that's
way?
there, right?
The width.
Well, it's actually gonna go between the sets of piers.
Yeah. So there's 11 inches of base.
From there to there, yeah. Do you know the width?
Yeah, but I'm saying, I think the right of way is just.
Oh, you're saying it's not
on
the whole,
each-
not the whole
No,
yellow line?
no.
Oh, okay. I
It's
thought-
just like, it's gonna be 20 or 50 feet or something on each side of the bridge.
300 feet,
Oh,
yeah.
well, that changes.
300 feet, yeah. I mean, look on that trailer, what is that, on that, what are they pulling?
Yeah, probably a 16 or 20 foot trailer.
Yeah, what is that up on the bridge?
I don't know.
Is it a tractor with a grain cart, or is it,
That's what it looks like.
so, I mean, how far apart are the lines on the highway?
I'd say best guess, you're probably 300 feet with the right of ways off the road. You're somewhere around 15 feet in between the road, and then the high lane, you've got 8 foot of, or 16 foot of 16, 20.
Can you read this stuff on here?
You're probably pushing 500, about 600 feet.
Well, we need to know where the right of way is.
The tree, where the fence is, you can see where the trees are running.
Well, here's what I think, here's the plan, here's my plan.
Because if that's the right of way, the school's drainage runs right onto it.
We can probably get this done, and we'll need to apply, we need to get this done we need to strike while it's hot. While we have the permit, get under the bridge, and then we can apply for that land and water conservation grant. Y'all remember we voted to go after one like a year ago, we didn't do it yet. So there's 250,000 land and water conservation grants that we should be able to apply for.
There's a fence on each side of that right of way down through there, state for that, that'd be where the state right of way starts at.
Right.
I mean, if you get the right of way section done, the other expenses, that's something that
We can do
put
later.
off to the next fiscal year.
Right, that's right.
I mean, my thinking correct.
That's, you got it.
But right now, we get the easement part done.
Yeah, we had to get through this part to do anything. So, all right, I'm gonna try to run us all along here. So we ain't here till breakfast, because I don't want to buy everybody breakfast. I will, but I don't want to. I'm sorry. I said I will.
I'll get the answers for you all about how long the permit's good for and what the right-of-way distance is. I know he's
I'd
got
be happy about it, don't care.
some information in the description about the road, about 120 and a half total feet where the bridge end line corresponds with the road on both sides. That's in there, in that description of the road and walking paths. But I'll confirm all that with Eric tomorrow.
Okay, all right. All right, is there anything else on here that?
I don't have anything unless you want.
All right, well, I appreciate that, giving us an update on that. Sorry I kept you this long, but now, any other questions? All right, thank you, and again, we thank QK4 for working with us, doing some good work.
We appreciate it, glad to help.
All right, we'll see you.
Now we're gonna be Julie.
Julie?
Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah, Julie got that.
My poor dog is finally, where are you going?
What's that?
The new magistrate line.
They're in effect now.
All right, I got a question before you start.
Okay.
Yeah, they just got one block.
Ag one property, what is our rules and regulations like for people that AT&T approach about wanting to put a tower on their land? Do we have any kind of regulation there?
We do have cell tower regulations, they're in our zoning regulation book. And if somebody wants to do, a cell tower, they generally have the company that's wanting to put it there come in and make that application. I've never seen one come through that the application was about this thick,
Yeah.
And go before the board.
So what makes you able to do that or not able? Like if someone's neighbor's putting up a cell tower, they're not real happy about it, does that person have to meet what requirements to be able to put that up? Can you answer that?
Well, it would take quite a bit.
But either way, I could get a copy of that. or someone can come in.
It's online too. It's in our zoning regulations online.
I got one more quick question.
Go ahead.
The one, that's coming up, Hill Franklin State.
Yes.
That's
about
on
Mark
Forestry
Long?
Ridge. I think with the new magistrate lines that we drew that are now in effect, I think that falls under me.
Mine.
Not 100% sure, but you might want to double check before we come back for a second reading.
Okay.
You can have it, don't worry.
Well, no, I think that I traded off that Forestry Ridge and gave Zach the Goose Creek, Veterans Creek. I think that was the trade there.
And I think that could be right.
So I don't know for sure because
I need a new map.
I've got one behind my door and I can get you some more.
Okay. Well, this
It ain't a big.
because I've got a map on my wall and I've got it lined out. And
Well,
that's how I
if
look
you're not
down,
for
like, oh, it's
sure-
in this one.
It's a St. Bad's map.
yeah.
Okay.
But I was just,
When in doubt.
I just want to bring that to your attention, just to make sure before it comes back for a second. We want to make sure it's right.
Julie, no, I've got an app, but, you punch in a, address and it'll tell you what district, what magistrate district.
Okay.
Is it up to date, you think? Not sure. Not sure.
Sale
I know, I
and
just
I
got
think
it.
Julie just needs a nice new updated map.
I like wall art.
Practice property, see what you get.
What's the address? My advice to someone doing solar farms or cell phone towers is get you an attorney to look over your contract.
Just a concerned citizen calls, because their neighbor is meeting with someone about contracts, and I said, I don't know the answer.
Well, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Julie.
Friday, we can hang on, okay?
Yeah,
You know, we don't stay very long. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one I'm gonna read to you is Nancy Lynn for Terry and Donna Carmichael, requesting Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 5.129 acres located in the 400 block of Snyder Road. Commissioner Wheatley made a motion to recommend a rezone the application of Nancy O. Lynn for Terry and Donna Carmichael, requesting zone change from Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 5.129 acres located in the 400 block of Snyder Road. The recommended land use management comprehensive plan recommends medium density residential. The change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and we would like to see a contingent on a written dedicated easement that's actually on the plat. That was seconded by Commissioner Travis. After a roll call vote, motion carried. I did include a new map for you all in there to show that he got that prepared as requested.
Yep, on page 54.
Motion to approve based on the facts and findings of the planning and zoning commission.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Will, to approve the zoning of the old Lynn's and the Carmichaels on Snyder Road, based on the facts and findings of planning and zoning. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right.
Next, I have the application of Linda Gill Denzik requesting Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 5.066 acres located in the 4200 block of Taylorsville Road, which is Highway 55 North. Commissioner Mudd made a motion to recommend to rezone the application of Linda Gill Denzik requesting zone change from Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 5.066 acres located in the 4200 block of Taylorsville Road, Highway 55 North. The recommended land use map and comprehensive plan recommends mixed use to medium density residential use. The change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and there was no one there to speak against it. Commissioner Deacon seconded that motion. Motion carried.
Make a motion that we approve the recommendation based on the facts and findings of planning and zoning.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Dan, seconded by Mike, to approve the application of Linda Gale Denzik with the, making a zoning change on the track based upon the facts and findings of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. We have the application of Chris and Kim Graves requesting R1 residential to R3 residential on 2.0011 acres located on Wilsonville Road. It's known as Tract 1 of the Florence Division. Commissioner Travis made a motion to recommend to rezone the application of Chris and Kim Graves requesting zone change from R1 residential to R3 residential on 2.0011 acres, known as Tract 1 of the Florence Division on Wilsonville Road. The recommended land use map in the comprehensive plan recommends medium-density residential. The change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and there was no one there to speak against it. The owner also agreed to adding a binding element. There will only be one residence on this property. That was seconded by Commissioner Deaton. After a roll call vote, motion carried.
Make a motion to approve, the zone changes recommended based on the fact findings of the zoning commission.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Jim, seconded by Zach.
Does that include the binding element? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Yeah, to approve the rezoning from the Graves family for from R1 to R3, based upon the facts and findings of planning and zoning, and it includes the binding element. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it again. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right.
Okay, that's all of our second readings, so the next ones are first readings. So we have the application of Hilda Franklin Estate requesting Ag 1 agricultural to R1 residential on tract 1A containing 4.003 acres. Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 2 tracts, being tract 1B containing 7.719 acres and tract 2A containing 5.193 acres, located at 2215 Hardesty Ridge Road. Commissioner Hunt made a motion to recommend to rezone the application of Hilda Franklin Estate requesting the zone change from Ag 1 agricultural to R1 residential on tract 1A containing 4.003 acres and Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 2 separate tracts. Tract 1B containing 7.719 acres, Tract 2A containing 5.193 acres, located at 2215 Hardesty Ridge Road. The recommended land use map in the comprehensive plan recommends medium to low density residential. The change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and there was no one there to speak against it. That motion was seconded by Commissioner Fowl. After roll call vote, the motion carried.
According to Dan's app, that is on there. According to Dan. Well, see, I got that block that, Charlie Nunn had a jeweler in that block too, and on the west, I guess it'd be the north side of 44, yeah, there, so, yeah, we need to get her on that. But,
All right. I may have one in the safe over there. Ma'am.
don't tell them what's in that safe, that's pretty safe.
All right, so next we have the application of Travis and Greta Byers requesting Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on tract 2 containing 9.276 acres located at 3295 Mount Washington Road. Commissioner Hunt made a motion to recommend to rezone the application of Travis and Greta Byers requesting zone change from Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on tract 2 containing 9.276 acres located at 3295 Mount Washington Road. The recommended land use map in the comprehensive plan recommends medium density residential use. The change will be in compliance with the comprehensive plan. There was no one there to speak against it. This will be contingent upon them providing a new plat showing existing driveway on tract 1 with an easement to extend through tract 1 to serve tract 2 for egress and ingress. That motion was seconded by Commissioner Fowl. The roll call vote, motion carried.
Doug, is it on the other side of Scott's house?
It's closed.
Yeah, I thought so. That house is up on that hill up there, yeah.
That's where Charlie,
Louis Arnold. Yeah,
It's on
On
complete
this
corner.
one, this one's very similar to the one on Snyder Road. So they are working on trying to get that easement extension shown. In the interim, they found out that their surveyor passed away. So they've had an attorney in Shelby County call me this week trying to, or actually it was the end of last week, figure out if he could just do a written easement of some sort. And
I thought that road that the Mannings put in through there, I thought that was an old county road at one time.
what that road is, the easement for that one is to serve
I know
the
it's
Manning properties.
Yeah, but,
So it's at capacity.
okay.
So what they're gonna do is where their driveway comes up to that Bedford Stone house is extend
On past that.
past their garage to track 2.
I just thought that was an old county road, that they took back over or something, but anyway.
Well, I know if you get a chance to read the minutes of the meeting.
I did.
Yeah, they
It was brought up, it was brought
brought
up.
up, yeah.
Yeah. So, I know it wasn't a deal for you, but so I was just asking.
Yeah. But okay, well, we'll discuss those, I guess, at our next meeting, when we have second reading.
Yes, sir.
You got anything else, Julie?
I think that's it. I sent over a request to send a couple of board members and myself to training at KIPTA. That will have everybody trained for the year, so that'll be a good thing. At the end of September, I'll have everybody taken care of.
Where do we stand on our regulations for wineries and distilleries?
They were talking about that too.
Yeah, we are very close, closer than we have been. Matter of fact, at the last meeting, I think we pretty much got our draft about ready to come to you guys on the craft distilleries. We our chairman put together a calendar timeline of when we were gonna have things done, because it has been kicked around so much. So, craft distilleries, I think at our next meeting, which is the first meeting in September, I think at that one, we'll probably have craft distilleries ready to swing that into you. After that, we're gonna jump on the microbreweries, probably figure out how to piece that in. Wineries is a little different situation, because with wineries, the KRS was changed, and wineries are allowed in agricultural up to a certain amount. I think it's
50,000 gallons, I think your meeting minutes said.
Well, I don't know if it's 50,000 or 550,000.
Oh.
I saw two different things, so I gotta go back. I actually caught that in some verbiage today, because that's a lot.
Yeah.
So,
50,000 gallons is a lot.
it is, exactly. So, but
Well, I mean,
that's
think about
would
it.
be something that would be allowed in agricultural with nothing,
Well, we're gonna be growing
you know, to
grapes.
get it started.
That's a lot of gallons though.
That's a lot of grapes.
A lot of
It's a
grapes.
lot, so.
But, all right, well, I appreciate that. Any other questions or comments for Julie? All right, I think we got you covered.
Okay,
I
thanks.
appreciate it. and Thank you,
Julie, do you
thank
want
you for hanging out.
website?
Yeah.
These maps on.
Do we have a city tax rate?
Well, they're in the book, but no one is here from extension,
Yeah.
so
They're just skip them.
they're in the book. All right, I'm gonna try to get on the agenda again. The sanitation district minutes are in there, and I do want to say that we went to German American Bank, Doug did today, and got us an account open for the sanitation district.
Good job, Doug.
So, we took care of
I
that.
donated a penny, or 10 cents to the cause to get it open.
So we'll be ready to start applying on, some of our expenses as we move forward. Ms. Lawson's here.
Do we need a motion to approve those minutes?
No, we shouldn't. And you see the tax rates, from the library and from the extension. So we move on. I included Heritage Hills because the deadline is like next week. And, I know they've got the dirt, I believe they got the dirt done up at the front, but I expect they'll get the blacktop done before the 8/31. I don't know if they've done it in the last few days, but I'm guessing not.
Well, has anybody, Todd or anybody been up there to make sure everything's what it's supposed to be?
Well, I know I saw pictures of what's up front, and I think it's right. I haven't looked at it myself, but I'll follow up. And as far as the road, I know they have to be a particular blacktop layer, certified. So they was doing some discussion on that, but I wanted to put it on here to let everybody know that we're watching that. Number 2, we've covered that. All right, number 3, the large project financial needs. I just wanted to bring that up because as we move forward, I don't know what page that was on. I don't know how. I think I went too far, yeah. Thank you, Doug.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so, we talked about the Old Hetty Bridge, and, I think I told you guys that a guy from Caco and another fellow, a bonding agent, came by, and we have bonding potential. We've got $42 million of bonding potential, but I do not recommend nowhere near that we ever go that deep in debt. I think y'all would agree. And the rate is about 4.3%. And for example, if you needed to bond $4.2 million, I think the payment was about $300,000 a year, somewhere around there, but I'm just all going by memory. Not that even that's what we'll need to do. But there is a chance that when we get to working on this old heavy bridge, that we have to pay for it and then get reimbursed from FEMA, and sometimes that takes years. So we could have our neck on the line to do some of these projects. And I'm not asking for any move tonight. I just want to keep you all in the loop as to what we got going down. The pavilion project, I know I sent a text out asking you guys to go by and look. Go ahead and get your plan out right here that I passed out.
I only got one question as it relates to this.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be an entrance to our property off of the main road, correct?
No, I don't think so. No. They've got this in here, but I don't know that we can get that.
But we already, the state gave us verbal approval of that.
No, not here.
Maybe not right
It was
here.
at the animal shelter.
No, I'm talking about at the state.
Well, but it ain't right here.
Well, it may not be exactly where it's there, but I thought the state gave us permission to put an entrance off 155 to the.
I don't think we have permission to do it.
No, I don't think we do. I think Wayne may have gotten permission on down.
I remember that, hearing that at the end.
Yeah, on down up by the guardrail, but not right here where this is drawn.
So my thing was, if the main entrance to our piece of property is gonna be behind Country Mart, as we talked about, I like where the building is proposed, where it's up closer to the road. If we was gonna have a direct entrance into our piece of property off of 55, I would propose that our building be pushed back, so you don't have to drive past the building to get to the parking on the back side. That was my only thing, but if it's gonna be off of, the main access is gonna be behind, coming from Beehive area, then I like the positioning of the building, which is toward the front, because I want to keep all the parking on one side of the building. To keep cars from you'd have traffic issues if you have big events or something like that, you start going around the building and pedestrians and stuff like that would normally work out, so you'd like to keep your parking area all on one side of the said building.
Well, I met out there with Hagan, two fellas that came by, and can't remember the Wheels, I guess he's the main guy, and he had another guy with him. And where we parked in the field is about where my finger is right here. You guys see that? Karen, I got Karen to help hold the tape this morning, and I do want to make the statement that I really don't think, and I'm going to check on it again, Jim, about if we can get an entrance there. If we can get an entrance there, we should pursue it. But I'm telling you, I really think that we were told that we can't get it there. And if you notice, the one out of Country Mart only goes in and then goes out to the right. And you can see the distance from it to here. And then we're about up at the same place.
Well, I would almost say we might be able to get an entrance for just turning in.
Like Country Mart is.
Yeah, because then your flow of traffic's still gonna come out the same place no matter where the entrance is.
True.
If we have that here, or we don't, traffic still exits.
People come into this pavilion that don't know Spencer County, and they have to turn on Industrial Drive and go all the way back to Beehive and turn and come back up and turn back away, they're gonna be lost.
But they're gonna be able to come in a Country Mart, probably.
They're still, they're turning the Country Mart. They're not anticipating they're going into the pavilion. They're anticipating they're coming into Country Mart. So I think we need an entrance off 155, just for people.
I'd say I don't think you have to work with it too much. You go down in Louisville, try to get into a little shopping center and stuff. That's the way it all is. It's all.
I know that we did, up there around Washington, they had parkway back kind of like in the.
I think they'll feel more at home doing it that way than they would
They put
be.
like some wayfaring signs, like where you turn to go into German American there, there's a sign that says, pavilion this way, and you get down, pavilion this way. I mean, I don't know, I think we would encumber a pretty good expense showing topographically, 14 feet of elevation drop off that road, and it could be expensive to put. But I'm not against it, I'm just saying it'd be consideration, you know, the expense that would be encumbered of putting in our own insurance.
And I mean, best I remember, the reason that we were coming in the back is because this wasn't gonna be allowed.
I can't
That's
recall.
best I
Well,
remember.
I think we ought to get with QK4 and ask them if they can check into that, see if it is allowed.
I think we have to call.
I'll call Keith King.
Yeah.
And then it won't have to pay nobody.
Well,
Won't be $1,000.
Check into it.
I think we need an entrance.
All right, well, I'll check, and even if it's not a full access, if it's one similar to what Country Mart has, where you just turn in,
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, I think
People can
that
go
would be
out
a
the
plus.
back way, you know.
Well, I can see a lot of people.
You can make it one-way traffic.
Come shoot right in there. So, but even if it is there, we could still have the building held forward. And the reason that, and the flags that I put out there, the ones toward the road, I tried to get them in line with the Country Mart's gas station. So if you kind of see the gas station, the building would be, it's actually, now I turned it, another thing that I thought, I know we landed on the 80-foot width, and then the depth being, I guess it's actually, that's 100, I guess it's 100 foot depth. 100, 120, 140, I guess, because it has those pump outs. But what Hagan Engineer told me is they are waiting for us to tell them, and then they're gonna start the process. Now, they have to figure the drainage, the road that comes in between our buildings and Country Mart. I really feel that road needs to be on the other side. There's a very good chance the numbers that they put together will show that we may have to extend this catch basin. And that way, we don't want to have a road going across the catch basin.
Get an entrance put off the main road and run one-way traffic around the back, you can need that road, just go to the park, you know, and then pop right out on the back road, you know.
Right here, correct.
You wouldn't need this right here.
Yeah.
I don't think if you came in up here, get off the main
If
road.
we get an entrance off 55, we can extend that road all the way back to the very back road.
Yeah, right.
And eliminate this one up here.
Eliminate
Yeah,
this.
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Makes more sense.
Yeah, you'll have to
That
build
way
a little
it's easy
bit
in,
more
it's
footage
easy
around
in,
it.
easy out. That
Yeah.
way,
You have to build a little bit.
even though we,
Right, yeah.
traffic won't be allowed to turn left on 155, just like Country Mart, they come out the backside.
Go out behind that way.
Yeah.
Or wherever we're at.
So, but basically, I mean, I don't have to call, I'll call Hagan tomorrow anyway, because I told him I would. But we need to check on if we can get in and out off the highway before, because they'll have to include that in the final plan.
I would push it all the way up against there as far as you could, but to give yourself options.
Well, that's what you got, right, the flags, the federal flags on it.
Yeah.
So I think you could call them, I think everyone is in agreement with pushing it up there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, well, I will get,
Tell them we'll have to see about this.
If we can get that entrance off 55, and run that road straight parallel back to their, property line, I think that's good.
I agree. It'll be I mean, it'll be some cost, but it'll be a minimal cost. And they'll just be driving through the parking lot anyway.
Well, we're gonna have the road next to Country Mart, so we can just eliminate that one.
Right.
It's not gonna cost us.
All right.
Okay, let's do it.
So, we're good on that. That's all that I have on that.
What's the additional on the animal shelter?
Well, okay, we've got, if y'all remember the animal shelter, I tried to tell, let y'all in on the money that we're gonna have to find for these projects. And the animal shelter will be the next pressing one. It was a $528,000 bid. See, Ms. Scott, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, we normally go this long, sometimes longer.
It's very informative.
Thank you. We got 528,000, and so we got to have that much money. Now, we got 330 already, so we're gonna have to come up with another 300 or so. We gotta make the parking lot, and we gotta make the outdoor dog kennels. So we're easily gonna have 650 in this animal shelter.
I thought the 523 or whatever it was, included the turnkey project.
Of the building.
Not the parking lot.
I
All of it included.
Yeah, didn't include the outdoor kennels or the parking lot.
Well, I think it did include the outdoor kennels, but it didn't include the parking lot around the kennels.
Remember, we
Yeah,
was
it
gonna
included
rebuild
the
the kennels?
concrete,
Sidewalks.
included the concrete kennels.
I remember that was a
And the
different
fencing.
additional bid.
Well, I'm thinking at the rate we're going, we got at least 3 years to come up with the money.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Hey, I saw they dropped off some pallets of something back there.
That's a lot.
I'm sorry, I had months, they've gotten 2 rows of block and some
I was just trying to be real.
fence grade backfilled in there.
But I'm laying out to you guys what, you know, at some point, we're gonna have to cut a check for these finished projects.
Well, you know, we've got, what, $2.5 million sitting in the
Well-
bank for that. We've already allocated that.
A lot of that $2.5 million is also budgeted in this year's budget. We budgeted
Regardless
$3
of
million.
where it was, we had $2.5 million for this pavilion and the animal shelter. And ARPA funds.
It don't sound
It
like
should
it's
still
gonna
be there.
Yeah.
So we got the money to do it.
Budget
No, we gotta
for
just pull
$3
that
million of the surplus. We ended up with surplus at the end of last year of $3.7 million.
So,
Which is basically the total ARPA money.
It's a total of everything.
Well, y'all remember,
CDs, cash we have in the bank.
the ARPA money was 3.8, and then we purchased the property, 750. And then, of course, we had bought other stuff for the ARPA money, guys. We bought an ambulance, y'all know,
We bought a bunch of stuff.
we bought a bunch of stuff for the ARPA funds. But, you know, and we've got budgeted a new ambulance this coming year. We may can hold off on that. And one thing we're talking budget right now. One thing that the previous courts have done is when they bought a new ambulance, they junked one. They took all the equipment out of the old one and put into the new one. Well, since we're not doing that, we've got to equip. That's why we're getting ready to vote on a heart monitor that's $51,000. We've got to equip this new ambulance because now we have 5 ambulances. You know, we've got a lot of expenses that we didn't have a year ago. You know, we all determined they were necessary. The additional 8-hour or 12-hour crew, the raises, they're working on the health insurance issue with, you know, that our employees needed. All that stuff costs money. So, Doug.
Right now, on the animal shelter, we still got 330,000 to the men that we got from Salt River Electric. But if you look at your financial statements, there's 100,000 in the animal shelter line.
So,
Which is 200,000 short.
Right, well, we also thought it was gonna be done in 2 months. I don't remember what we had in last year's budget when we transferred some money around. But in the new budget,
there was
it wasn't done before then.
$200,000 in last year's budget, I remember that.
We haven't spent that ARPA money. We have not spent that ARPA money.
we've spent some of it.
Some of it.
But I mean, we probably spent
No,
over
but
$1 million, easily over $1
It
million.
was 3.75 or something like that to start with,
Million.
and we got 2.5 in the bank right now. Rest of it was spent. So,
I mean, we've easily
I
spent
can't
$1
say we
million.
don't have money to pay for the animal shelter for them. It's there.
So,
Now, if you wanna budget it for other things, then,
I mean, I agree with you, we should still have about 2.5 sitting there.
yep.
It might have been put in other line items, but it's still sitting there.
It's not for the, it should have been for the general fund, because we stipulated that ARPA money, we wanted it separate.
Will's on.
Yep.
But I still have the same.
Yeah, but I think what they're saying is we put it in other budgeted line items now for this year.
I mean, I don't think it should have been.
Well, we all voted on the budget.
There shouldn't be an issue with money for the animal shelter. Regardless, if it's cost $650,000, that money should be there.
I don't disagree with you, Jim, that won't be a problem.
Okay.
but if we gotta
I think it's
spend,
an informational, like,
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff.
there's a lot of stuff. I mean, we've been doing a lot of stuff. The county needs
I
a
think
lot
what
of
he's
stuff.
trying to get through to us is there's a lot of money going out and there ain't a whole lot of money coming in, and we gotta watch it for spending.
Well, I think,
so
I get that.
So,
I would suggest that, I know when we did budget meetings, I knew exactly how many dollars I had in my budget and what it was gonna cost. So I think if we're gonna buy something, some big item, we need to find out from Doug first, do we have the money to pay for that? Instead of just saying, hey, we need a $150,000 tractor, okay, let's buy a $150,000 tractor.
I think we should
Do we have
start,
$150,000 to buy a tractor?
The money's there, it's just moving it from one line to
I
another.
think we should start each meeting before we make a decision on anything, with them telling us what is in Will's line. That still doesn't exist even though we've asked for it for a year. I don't know, you know, nope. How much money's in the bank? How much money's on Will's line?
I'd just like, do we still have, I know we still have money in CDs and stuff like that, which, I mean, if we're getting 5% interest, then we can get a 0% interest loan, then I'm okay.
Well, I mean, like Jim said, there still should be $2.5 million there somewhere.
Look, I don't want us to kill the whole night on this, but on page 216 is financial statement numbers that has like cash balances and, bank balances, outstanding deposits, other investments. You can look at that on page 216. Got Doug's signature on it.
Our cash balance is $4,221,650.54, includes the CDs.
All right. See now,
What was that, Doug?
That's it. Our cash balance there at the end of July, $4,221,000, includes the 2.7 million of CDs.
So we got 2.7 million CDs, plus we got another million, something like that.
So what is the figure? What do we have in ARPA? That 2.7 is in there. We budgeted to make the budget balance this year, $3 million to surplus. Our surplus at the end of June was $3,707,000 is what our cash balance was at the end of June. Time we paid for the ambulance, time we paid our insurance, all of our other things that we paid throughout the year. So
I think we're, it seems like we're getting kind of cold feet here all of a sudden about money.
No,
No.
Well, I'm not really getting
Doing our
cold feet.
diligence.
I'm still kind of like on my, if any one of us asks, the direct question, how much ARPA money do we have left? Somebody should be able to say, we have exactly this much money left. And I think we're getting, we got this here, this here, this here. I want a straight answer.
it's about 2.8.
But that's about to, somebody should have that figure.
Okay, it's 2.8 and 1 penny. Thereabouts.
But I'm just saying, somebody should have that figure and say, this is exactly what we got. Now, when expenditures come up, we know exactly what we're doing.
It ain't really that simple.
It could be.
It is.
it's not really ARPA money anymore, it's general fund money now.
Right, because
Yeah, but
We said we wanted to
said
know.
that was gonna go, it was gonna go into the general fund, but it was gonna go into basically kind of an untouchable general fund until we used it for.
That's where we made the joke of Will's line. Every dollar that we saved was gonna be going to this.
I think it's pretty cut and dry, but part of that line item, we had the money rolled into this year and it's rolled into our budget.
I think that's what happened, is it was
It's all rolled.
there.
Everyone was
Like-
voted into the budget.
it's always rolled into the budget.
But somebody should be able to say, well, we have this much money, it's rolled into the
Well,
budget,
it
but
ain't
this much
probably
is
all
ours.
in budget line.
The 2.8, we've got CDs. So, I was getting ready to say it ain't just sitting there, but it is just sitting there. It's 2.8 is sitting
Yeah,
there.
but if it's, it wouldn't be able to sit there all year. It's allocated in our budget. Part of that money, 2.8 is allocated into our budget for this year, correct?
We budgeted $3 million of the $3.7 that we had at the end of last year to make a budget, balanced budget.
So you budgeted 3 million and we only have 4, what?
And right now, we've got $4 million.
All right, well, that answers the question. A million and some change is figured into the budget.
But there's still revenues that come in.
Yeah.
There's still revenues that come in. I mean, it's kinda like y'all asking me how many beans is in a can of pork and beans. I don't know, they're all in there. We can get them out and count them.
We know how much we started with, and we ought to be able to go through and see how much we spent.
Is there a KRS or something such that we have to present a balanced budget every year, correct? Am I wrong with that? We have to present a balanced budget every year, correct?
Right.
That's why the 2.7 has been allocated, or it's been allocated at, to present a balanced budget.
Sure, we
With cash
understand
on
that.
hand.
I understand all that.
And y'all are saying you're wondering where the number is, he just gave it to you, he told you we had 2.7.
Money is starting to get tighter, but there are some things where it's probably need to look
It's
through
in
financial
CD,
statement
yeah,
and see
so-
on some of
As
the
long as
projects.
it's not going to be.
It's not technically there, but yeah, so.
And there may be some projects as we go along, we may have to borrow money. Just like, who knows when the old 80 bridge, the 2.5 million is gonna have to be
Yes.
paid out, and then how long before we get reimbursed from FEMA?
Right, and again, it's like Zach just said, and the revenue continues to come in. I mean, Lynn makes a monthly deposit to us, sends us a check from her fee office. And then, of course, the sheriff's office turns in fee money, the EMS turns in revenue. You know, there's many, many places that turn in revenue that will rebuild that 2.8 pot.
And that's one reason it's increased right now from what it was, because in the month, we just got quarterly payments on a lot of occupational tax and.
Insurance premium tax.
Of course, probably about November, we'll be getting property tax money.
Well, all I'm saying, we're talking about this pavilion, that road.
It's gonna cost a bunch of money. That's why I put this on the agenda to let everybody be aware of what we're looking at, so I don't come up one day with a big surprise. We don't like surprises.
I think it's good,
Yeah, and that's why I think that, like you said, if we have something that, a big project, not $5,000 or whatever, but a big, that before we say, yes, we're gonna spend that money, Doug needs to tell us we have the money to spend and where it's coming from.
A good example of this to be was Scott told the lady with the soccer association tonight, we didn't have the money budgeted to do a lot of these things. First meeting in July, we spent about all the money we had in parks line item doing the strike.
Well, that is the dozer work.
And I mean, that's just the fact of government is the motion federal government.
Yeah.
I guess one thing, is, I'm just unhappy with how.
When you don't have a set amount of money and you have to stay within your budget.
We go through the whole meeting, and we vote to spend, and then, actually, maybe we should all do the financial statement at the beginning, so we can discuss how much we got before we start discussing the expenditure.
Kind of explained at the end of the last meeting. You just gotta remember it all, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Well, it's one
Three
of
and a half hours
your
later.
packets, it's in your packets every month, so you can look at it, and we have questions.
But, well, I'm gonna run on, because basically that was information only. And don't y'all lose faith, these projects we'll still work on, we'll still get there. But, one other thing that's I need to bring up on the Sweezy land donation. And again, we gotta do one more thing and it'll be done. All right, we're gonna have to get 2 appraisals, because there's money considered. It's a consideration. So we need to pay $1. I think we're gonna pay $1, and, Mr. Sweezy donating land. You know, obviously, when you make a charitable donation, you wanna, get the tax benefits. And for him to donate us the land has to be a money considered. Okay, the KRS says, when the county buys something and money is considered, then you have to get 2 appraisals. So, we gotta get 2 appraisals on that. What it's gonna cost, I'm not sure. It shouldn't cost as much as it costs us to get 5 acres. Those were $2,800 a piece, roughly. But, I'll need a motion for us to get 2 appraisals, and then that'll be ready to go.
Before we go there, let's Cheryl, you know, just common sense. If we're gonna, county's gonna pay $1 for this land. Now, we gotta spend $6,000 for 2 appraisals.
Hopefully
for
not.
$1. I mean, if there's some way that your office can go to the state and say, look, this is $1. Why would the county want to pay for 2 appraisals for $1?
It's not our office that wants the dollar to be paid.
It's not you,
A
but
donation,
can
a
your
donation
office-
doesn't require consideration.
What she's
We're
saying
being
is,
asked
I don't want you
by
to
the
say.
other party to have consideration shown in the document. If you have consideration shown in the document, that's where the 2 appraisals come from.
This isn't for the state, this is for the landowner, so he can get his tax credit.
But look at what we're getting.
We're being requested to have consideration shown when you don't necessarily need to have consideration.
Well, I have to buy the land personally for $6,000. That's what we gotta do. It sounds like it's
I'm with you,
not an
I
option.
mean, geez, I mean, 'cause these appraisals are adding up in our budget.
I don't disagree.
If the landowner is insisting on having consideration shown, you will have to have the appraisals.
Well, can we
If it's
just,
truly a donation, you don't typically show consideration.
Why can't we just get a true donation?
Because he needs consideration. He wants tax, he wants a tax deduction.
can we have an appraisal?
Which he said, he told me this
Can we have
morning, it was
It's like a local
$175,000.
appraisal? Why couldn't we use like money?
I think we probably can, as long as they're a, whatever that statute is, 294, 274, 8, as long as they're that type of appraisal.
they have to be considered a certain, I don't think land's considered like a commercial property versus land, not residential, not commercial.
Whatever that is, it's KRS, it's 274, 294, 8, and that's the kind we have to find now. If someone local is, then they'll work.
Quick question, I mean, if he's wanting a tax break, why can't he pay for the appraisal?
We're getting a donation.
I'm just saying, it's just this dollar and this is that, just, you know, just every time you turn around, you know, it's something.
Okay, I'll make a
If
motion
you
that we get
want
the appraisals
consideration
for the
shown in
donation
contract,
of
you
those
have to have
Sweetie
the
land.
appraisals without
Did you make a motion?
consideration.
Yeah.
Motion and a second.
All right, we got a motion by Jim, seconded by Will, that we proceed getting 2 appraisals for the Sweezy land. That'll get us access to the 5 acres. Or get another access to the 5 acres. All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, we'll get over here. That's all I got on that page. All right, page 103. I want to share with y'all, Brittany is working, getting us a website set up and for our economic development. I know Ms. Scott was here. It'll also help us on tourism. I could go, you know, I could approve this, but she wanted me to share with you guys what she's got going on. Wants to get a drone, a fellow to come over with a drone or lady, whomever, Nathan. So they're going to do 5 to 10 video clips, 10 to 20 stills per location. She wanted me to bring this before you guys to get approval to get this to put on the website.
I'll make a motion that we approve $800 for the drone video and pictures.
All right, we have a motion by Dan, seconded by Zach, to approve up to $800 to get zone footage for our economic development website. Any discussion? All right, and there is money in the economic development line for this. So, all right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, next, on page 104, and it goes on through like page 124. There's a fellow, Ryan Embry, he worked for, Chris worked for the state for a few months. And in fact, when we were out looking at the storm damage from last was it May 3rd, or no, March 3rd, last year. The storm, he came out and we were looking, for example, down on Shears Creek Road, where the ditch was washed out this much deeper. All right, FEMA came back and disallowed that expenditure. And we could have, and it got past us. We could have, I guess, fought and objected to them denying that. But regardless, this fella that used to work for KYEM now works for a firm that'll do all the FEMA legwork for you for the fee that FEMA pays.
So it's a wash?
Yes.
But right now, when we're doing the legwork, we're getting that fee, correct?
I guess.
Chris does his own, Todd does his own FEMA work, we get paid.
Anybody that's federally funded does not qualify for stuff. Like part of my salary is federally funded through the EMPG grant. So, like the hours I work on it is just, we can't claim myself or any county employee that receives any federal funds as part of it.
Even if we're doing a FEMA project that's not like a natural disaster, or just like old culvert on the road? Okay.
Well, basically, Brittany and myself and this fella had a meeting last week, and he talked about all the services he could provide. And even the FEMA projects that we got working on right now, this Old Hetty Bridge, getting the, making sure the funding is all done properly and timely. And we had, it's been, I'll say a nightmare, like that disaster a year ago, working on all it, and finally we had meeting after meeting with the lady from FEMA would come over to Chris's place and would say, this doesn't work for this reason, we don't understand. Todd and Keith are there. We've got, I don't know how many hours.
It would free up a lot of man hours,
A
correct?
lot of manpower.
Well, it's just that side of the FEMA project, you need somebody dedicated to doing that because, it can be almost a full, especially like the large event we have. That's something, by the time you start inputting all those records, it's managing, because you gotta track down to the hour, what equipment was used, who used it. It can be a full-time job if there's a large event.
Well, let me ask you this, or beforehand, or maybe Brittany does a lot of stuff, but the FEMA stuff, say she was working on, did we get that reimbursed, or we billing that?
I'm sure she did, we can claim admin.
Get some admin costs.
We can get admin costs on that just for the hours she worked on it. When you enter into a large FEMA project, you can accept upfront, if you have somebody administering it, to accept the administrative cost, which is a percentage of the amount of dollars they award. Whereas, when Brittany's just doing it, when Brittany's not doing economic development or the deputy judge thing or one of the other 12 hats she wears, she's got to track every hour she's working just on FEMA.
All right, so Todd, he's not part of federally funded, so we should be getting paid money for the work Todd is doing.
I don't know how that works in the budget, I don't know on that.
Well, I guess the point I'm trying to stress here is that this will, if we engage with the companies called ER Assist, if we engage with them, I think we'll be way more successful on successfully getting FEMA projects approved.
Do they only get paid the admin fees? Because
I'm sure we pay them and then we get reimbursed.
there's a lot of.
No, I think they work on the admin fees.
Is that right, Chris?
As far as I know, that's correct.
Because, there's a lot of hourly rates in here, and it says they get paid hourly up to $50,000, or not to exceed
So the
$50,000.
grant management company will secure their fees directly through the administrative costs allocated, is what the notes say. So, either way, it's still a wash.
Well, I'll have to pay him and we'll wait 3 years to get to the admin fees.
Yeah, but you think of all of the freed up time it's gonna give Brittany, it's gonna give Chris, it's gonna give Todd, it's gonna give three of our employees.
Doug and Karen,
yeah.
I agree with doing it, but I'll be honest, I didn't read every bit of this. I assume this is a contract, it looks like.
Yeah.
I'll say Ryan is an expert when it comes to the mitigation side and the damage assessment side.
Well, that's the other thing too, is so, yeah, Chris is familiar with it, Todd's familiar with it, Rick is familiar with it, Doug's familiar with it, but they don't specialize in it.
This guy does.
And this guy's gonna know how to get stuff done, figure out stuff, know when deadlines are coming up, you know, if we're missing something because we didn't know something, he's gonna know about it, he's gonna be working for it, and that's what he's trying to do to make his money, so.
And another example is, I don't know how much time we invested in a lot of those projects, the ones that didn't work.
Yeah.
And he would be right off the bat, that won't work, that won't work, that won't work. So, I mean, I see a lot of values there.
Well, we're still gonna have to do things, because we'll still have to make copies of the checks that we wrote and pay payments.
Yeah.
To get reimbursed and different things like that. It's not like he's gonna be doing it.
He's not gonna do it all, but I mean, he's taking a lot of
So
it.
do we need a motion to
Yes.
enter this contract?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Jim, to approve the contract with ER Assist to manage all FEMA projects and declarations. Any discussion?
I'm fine with this, but I'm just curious if our county attorney has
That's what I
reviewed
was
this
gonna ask.
contract.
Did our attorney look at this contract?
Corey and I meet before every meeting, and we met today, and we both landed where that we thought this was good. So,
It says right here, it says the status of independent contractors agreement does not constitute hiring of either party. It is the party's intention to contract independent contractor status and not be employed. Tasks, scope of work, compensation, contractor being entitled compensation performing on tasks and duties related to their services, contractor being compensated on a unit price basis pursuant to the rate. Trying to see what all it says there. I mean, I don't see anything in here that says that we're out any money.
There's a termination clause that gives you the right to terminate the contract prior to the expiration.
yeah, the service end date would be 7/30 or 26.
No, 25, it says 1 year, they
Okay.
extended 3 additional years.
I'm looking at a different page.
I'm just looking at 111.
You're talking about project period of service end date, 30/26.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any other discussion?
I see that too, but if you go to number 2, it says, all right, 1 year after the date, I read wrong. Go ahead.
There's a termination provision, number 5, that says it can be terminated for cause or inconvenience by either party. If you look at page 113.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Any, no other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now EMS. Chris, would you please come up?
It's your time to shine. Yeah, o'clock at night.
We're not going for the record tonight.
First thing on the agenda for us is our block grant funding. We get that each year annually. This year we submitted our block grant to buy a bunch of training material and to update and enhance our training capabilities, our training library at the station. So it's a total of, whatever the grant was, $9,948.
Yeah.
You should have with the other one, maybe we could spend this money on the 51,000.
Yeah. Sorry, so that was the block grant money, and that's just a grant we get every year, but since it was over 3,000 for the total.
All right, you need a motion from us to spend this money on allocated items.
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Zach, seconded by Jim, to approve the EMS department to utilize the grant money of $99,4885 to spend on the allocated items for EMS. Any discussion?
Not to be that guy, but Will did bring a point, I mean, could this be used towards the other, if training ain't 100% of necessity?
The problem is, we have to apply for that
We had
grant.
to apply for that grant well in advance.
Okay, so you've already put down what you're gonna spend?
Yes,
for.
when we applied for the grant, we applied for this grant in
January.
January, and so when we applied for the grant at the end of last year, it's, you got to give them a list, and they have allowed us, so.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, next is Zoll.
The next, there's two quotes from Zoll in there, one's for a refurbished X-Series monitor, 40-something thousand. The other one is for a new Zoll monitor, it's the latest model, so the X Advanced is what it's called. And it's 50-some thousand, and they're offering 3 years, 0% interest on the $50,000 monitor.
I'll make a motion, we go with the new one at 51,755 with the 3-year,
No, it's
Zero
it's zero interest installment plan, I kinda like it, what's the yearly payment on that, does anybody?
17,000 something.
I think we should do that and use their money.
Yeah. All right, we have a motion to that effect. Who's second?
I'll second if he's got the 3-year installment plan.
Yeah, that was Jim's motion.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion by Jim, second by Zach, to go with purchasing the new one with the financing at 3 years, 0% interest with the cost of $51,755 for the equipment for a new ambulance. Any other discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought when we got this new ambulance, we bought like some sort of stretcher or something, because the old one wouldn't work, and I remember, I think specifically, sitting in here talking, that nothing else was gonna be needed.
We said there would be some stuff we had to buy, and so this is, I'll take most of this on my shoulders. Usually when we bought a new ambulance, we do away with an ambulance. So I wasn't thinking up front that, we have 5 ambulances now, so we need one more of each of these pieces of equipment, because the ambulance has to have that on there to be.
So how much more stuff will follow this?
This is the last big expenditure, I believe. I need to order a scoop stretcher, which is like $1,400. We were lucky enough, we were in a spot where we had an extra CPR machine, but this is the last large purchase. We've had to make several small items that, like different types of splints, backboards, just normal stuff that has to be on the ambulance.
So every ambulance is an ALS ambulance?
Every ambulance is. correct.
Well, that's what's gonna be my next question. If you took one out of our worst ambulance and put it in here, can't you still use that ambulance for certain calls or something, or is that wrong?
Our ambulances are all licensed as advanced life support ambulances, so for them to meet the license, when we get inspected, every ambulance has to have a set amount of equipment. There's a list, the state puts it out and says.
Can you operate one that's not licensed like that?
You can operate a BLS ambulance.
We don't run BLS crews. We do now with the 12 hours.
Well, basic life support or advanced.
So someone that's running an advanced one can surely run a basic, correct?
It could, but.
Yes, that's like rough analogy, so we're gonna send a paramedic, that's like sending a framer out without a hammer. If we send a paramedic out without a heart monitor.
Well, not really, because paramedic is all what you know up here. I mean, you gotta have equipment.
You gotta be able to defibrillate, shock. heart monitor.
if you run 2, possibly 3 ambulances a day,
That's what I'm getting.
why would you 5? Why can't we just have 1 each? Because I mean,
Or here, how hard
you're
is
running,
this equipment?
you're running a crew that's
This piece
all
of
the time,
equipment can't
and
be
then you
very
got your
hard to do.
8-hour shift, so that's 2 ambulances a day.
If you
Maybe
got
3 if it gets busy, why do we need 5?
Because last year, I only had one that was running.
Okay, when one breaks down, we take this piece of equipment out, instead of put it in the other ambulance.
Your cardiac monitors, how are they mounted in the vehicles? Are they mobile or are they?
Yeah, but they're.
I know they are. You
Yeah,
take one in
yeah.
my house. They brought one in my house. So,
I know it may be.
you could check a monitor out for that.
We
vehicle
could,
every
but
shift.
the way the state regulation is written, we can move an ambulance to a BLS truck, and that'd be fine. But we can stop the ambulance, all of our ambulances with ALS truck, and then if Med 1 breaks down, the crew needs to go into Med 4 and is prepared and ready to go.
response time.
Yeah, but you'll still have that even if we don't buy this, because you're gonna have 4 ambulances right now that are
And I'll
completely
have to
set
have,
up.
I'll have to have one that is downgraded to a BLS level truck.
Yeah, but you got 5 trucks, right?
Yeah.
You
But
got
only-
4 that will be ASL certified without this.
It would only be a BLS truck until you took a monitor out of one of the ALS trucks and put it in the truck.
I just don't think it's worth the encumbered expense to have 5 ALS trucks ready to roll, when you could just move some equipment around if a truck goes down.
One piece of equipment.
One or two
Just
pieces
one
of
piece.
equipment, that's all I'm saying. We're encumbering a lot of expense to have 5 trucks ready to roll, whenever you could move a couple pieces if something goes down, and then boom, you're right back on the road. I think it's a question that's worth being raised.
You all, the question, and a good question, and I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, you're sitting up on the side of the road, I'm sitting up on the side of the road, and that response time could take 5 minutes to move that. Just say it does, say they're at Country Mart, or they're over at the other side of town, whatever, and that truck is gonna break down, they gotta drive all the way back to re-gear and go again. That's what we're saying.
Well, I'm not really buying that, because they must make sure their truck's ready to begin the shift.
Not with 4 trucks, you're still gonna have, and it wouldn't make any difference anyway, if that truck breaks
How
down.
long ago was we done one truck?
It was last year.
Last year
One
we got
day,
one
we had
truck.
1 ambulance out of 4.
We got 5 now, we were down to 1.
And y'all remember one of them was sitting in Newcastle, dead because they stole the Cadillac
It
converter.
wouldn't have made any difference how many monitors we had. We
No,
only had
the
one
trucks
truck
were
running.
That's what I'm saying.
We got a big old
This ain't
surplus.
This ain't a heart monitor issue, this is a truck breaking down, the engine falling out of an issue. And then we're talking about trucks being available.
Hey, you better off just buy all
So
the
you have
trucks.
3 crews on, right? So
Yes,
your crew, your 3 crews come in, they each of them check out a monitor, put it in their vehicle.
Make sure their vehicle's ready to roll for the shoot.
So,
That is correct, but the way, and we could, tell me to, we'll move a truck to BLS level, and it'll have to run BLS.
You don't need to.
You don't have to.
Why?
If each truck is not equipped with said equipment,
It changes the state status.
it's state regulation, it's not my rules, it's not Spencer County's rules, it's the state regulation.
I mean, the brand new Peak ambulance can be a BLS, and it can sit in the parking lot, and we can still drive the other 4.
I'd make the brand new one.
Well, I agree, but right now, it ain't got one of these in
Well,
it.
we take one out of the old truck, put it in the new one, and make the old
Well,
truck, if you have to do that.
Here's what worries me. My dad, your grandmother, somebody is having heart problems and everybody jumps in the ambulance, and it just so happens that ain't the one with the monitor.
Well, that's not, that's to be considered, they gotta
Yeah,
have
it
their stuff
is.
together. I mean, it's not our fault they don't follow procedure, make sure that their ambulance.
Accidents happen.
they do, but not like, for 12 years, I've never left without the right equipment in my,
I mean, Jim, at the beginning of your shift, when you was on fire department, make sure all the equipment was always
Yeah.
working.
And to be fair, each crew is assigned to a truck, they check their truck every day. This is just gonna put us in a predicament where, let's say, it's gonna be Med 4 that will get moved to BLS, it's the oldest truck. If it's put in service, it'll have to be operated as a BLS truck. That's
All
just
right,
what that
then take
does.
it out and we'll surplus that one. We're talking
But-
about buying another one might get put back next year.
it doesn't have to be.
You don't want a BLS
I don't
anyway.
understand why you're saying that truck has
It's
to
the way
be
that-
certified as a BLS truck. If it's sitting in a garage, just because it doesn't have a monitor in
Each
it,
truck, when they inspect each ambulance now,
It's through the state.
it's through the state, I've made the same argument with it.
They do an inspection once a year, I
And
think.
annually, they come and inspect us, and they go through every piece of equipment on the ambulance. And so they look for a heart monitor, they look for a blood glucose monitor, they look for a pulse oximeter, they look to make sure I have this many Band-Aids, this many IV needles. It's,
so,
Well, even if just real quick, if you certify that as a DSL ambulance, so whatever it is, you got some other trucks break down, you put that piece of equipment in that truck, it's still a DSL ambulance. But when you get to the scene, you're providing the same ASL service, whether that, it don't matter what the damn name on the ambulance says. You have all the equipment and the correct
it's not,
personnel
it's
on it.
not all, the heart monitor is like, like I said, it's like the paramedic's hammer when you compare it to.
I understand, but if the truck's broke down, you put the equipment in that truck, there's no difference,
I
no
guess
matter
we
what
can
the
ask for
name is.
forgiveness.
Do they, let me ask you this, okay, if we have 4,
Yeah.
if we have 5
There's no
ambulances,
liability.
and we
You're
have
not
4,
getting on Facebook and putting, we're using this as an ASL ambulance.
If it's state certified ambulance that is certified as BLS only, and you take it to the scene and someone dies, even if you put that heart monitor in it,
I'm
you
with you, Cheryl.
potentially are opening yourself up to liability, because what you sent was a BLS ambulance, not.
I think you should just go down to having 4 ambulances and they're all ALS. That's my argument.
When we got 3 crews on the road,
Well, that gives you 1 extra. I mean, how much can you expend to just have extra stuff sitting around collecting?
it's easy to, when we got 3 crews on the road, it's very easy to have 2 ambulances broke down. That's why we got 5.
I know we've made hard decisions with the
And I don't
sheriff's
see the
office, we've made
liability.
hard decisions with other things.
That's what it's certified for.
And I know it's a tough decision,
I understand that.
you know, but we just sat here and went round,
You're
round,
not
round, round.
a lawyer. I'm talking, if you go out on a run, where is your lawsuit at?
Empty nut claims?
I understand that,
They will
they sue you to
They will
save
sue
you.
you
You're
for
not
any-
providing a
Because it's not
service.
ALS certified.
They will sue you for anything, and it's not an ALS certified truck, and then you're providing the ALS service.
What would we do if that's all the trucks we had, we didn't have the money for any of these monitors?
Then you'd have all BLS.
It would be a BLS service.
Service.
We wouldn't have
not ALS.
paramedics or fancy EMTs, it would be a BLS service.
Your argument, okay, so,
I'm just telling you, you're exposing yourself to liability. You can do
so
it.
here's what
You
happens,
just need to understand what
anyway,
you're doing.
BLS truck arrives, they decide they need ALS, they call for another, and then they may go on the BLS truck with the paramedic, with the ALS equipment. So, the designation of that truck means very little.
It doesn't
It's,
lawsuit.
it's what kind of care you're getting while you're there.
In a lawsuit, it can matter.
Well, I'd say that there's a lot of ambulance services out there that are up for 1 million lawsuits, and because
Well, they will
they
wait for
can't
the other
provide
truck to get
ALS
there,
in
and
every
minute-
ambulance.
In his service, minutes matter. And so if you're waiting for the other ambulance to get there to provide that level of care, then minutes, you know,
Seconds count.
it may not matter, but it may matter. But if he's providing a service off a truck that is certified one way, you are potentially opening yourselves and the county, more importantly, up to liability.
But there
Not
are
to
even
mention the
ALS
fact that the
runs
person-
where you have to have more people, so you have to call for another unit.
It's
So,
not, it's,
it,
we can provide ALS service from another vehicle, you're correct. But the vehicle that we take the monitor off of will have to be used as a BLS service, that's the point I'm getting at. So it's gonna have to be, like,
Degraded, so to speak. The
What?
state, it'd be like degraded to,
Yes.
with the state.
So will you, if that's what the case was, and truck breakdown, would you put one of them monitors in that DSL truck?
I'm not gonna answer that.
I don't want you to answer.
Yeah.
so, okay.
I know what
So,
I would do if I was in your shoes.
I know where Chris is coming from, it's a slippery slope. My thing was, I don't wanna run an ambulance that is BLS, I don't wanna get into that. But I think if you have 5 ALS, it's a lot of equipment that we're constantly having to maintain, constantly having to refurbish, constantly having to replace when their certificates go out. I think we should go to 4, we're constantly working on upgrading our ambulances, and new ambulances that are coming down the pipe. I just think 5 is a lot that's collecting dust, with a lot of incumbent expense that keeps happening when things go out of service. I mean, when one year it's stretchers, one day it's heart monitors, one day it's defibrillators, you know, and all of these things cost exuberant amount of money to maintain if you're not using that 5th ambulance on a regular basis. That is my argument.
I agree with that, that's the problem you should be making.
And we just went around and round and round 30 minutes ago about how we need to start being a little bit more tighter around the waistband when it comes to putting things out. I don't think that we would have a disruption in service if we went down to 4 ambulances, and it would save us $52,000 in this instance. That's my argument, I'm not gonna say any more about it.
all right. I think we'll have a disruption if we go down to 4 ambulances trying to run 3.
It'll be just the same as how when we run 2 shifts with 4 ambulances, but
You know,
very well easy could be a disruption.
I mean, I'll never forget the time when I had 1 ambulance and what we had to do. So, all right,
We
let's
still have
vote.
5 ambulances.
All right, let's vote. So the motion is to go with the new heart monitor and do the 0 interest for 3 years. That was the motion that's on the floor. All right, all those in favor of pursuing that purchase, raise your right hand. Opposed? 2. Motion passes.
Thank you, John.
All right, thank you. All right, next on the agenda is county clerk. That's on page 142. Lynn is requesting that we approve another cleaner for her office. If you look on page 142, I'm hiring, and it has the person's name to clean. So I'll make a motion that we hire this cleaner for Lynn.
Second.
All right, have a motion by myself, seconded by Dan, to hire the cleaner listed for Lynn. That'll clean 1 or 2 times a week. And I believe it's the same cost as she was paying. Is that properly accurate?
That's correct, and it's already been appropriated in the budget.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Why do we need a different cleaner for her office than the rest of the offices?
Because I've requested that the lady who cleans the rest of the office, clean my office during the daytime hours, like she cleans all the rest of the offices, and she will not.
Why does your office need cleaned during daytime hours?
For the same reason all the other offices need cleaning during the daytime hours.
What is that?
For security. And, I mean, the sheriff's office, she cleans your office during the day. She doesn't clean any other offices at night.
Did you ask her if she would clean it during the day? If she could?
She said she could not.
I
And I
think,
asked her twice, and she said she couldn't provide services to me
well, I
Has she
think,
been providing services to you?
at night. But I don't want anybody in my office at night, not with an election coming up, with ballots being in the office.
How long did she clean at night?
What do you mean, how long?
You said she did clean at night.
It's
How long
been a
did
while.
she do that? A
It's
year,
been a
2,
while.
3 years? So why?
Because I
You
would
allowed it to
prefer
go
her
on for
to
3
have-
years and now you want to change it?
Yes,
Why?
I would prefer her to clean during the day for security reasons, for the same reason all the other offices have her clean during the day,
But she cleaned during the night for
Right.
3 years,
right?
and now you're saying that's not what you want.
That's correct.
yeah, she couldn't work it in her schedule to clean during the day. I know she
It's my
cleans,
office, sorry, Jim.
I know she cleans the courthouse at night. I mean, in the
Not
wintertime, her and her husband's in there.
It's already a
vacuuming the hall.
budgeted item, it's not costing
It's
any more
not.
money, it's just switching money from one person to another,
Well,
so I
let me-
don't see where the issue
If
is.
the money's allocated, but the thing is, still, so she's spending that money out of that line, so technically that's less money that gets kicked back to us at the end of the year.
No, the money's already been allocated for her cleaning budget, it's there, it's just a matter of who she's gonna pay that money to.
So are we getting a reduction from the other lady by not letting cleans off?
That was where I was.
It was a budgeted item, no matter who cleaned, whether. the
He's saying is the woman that's cleaning the rest of our stuff knocking off her bill because she's no longer cleaning.
Oh, yeah.
Should.
Oh, yeah.
She should.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
that's
I mean, do we
his
have,
office,
do
not
we
me.
have?
Is this gonna be a wash here?
Yes, it's a wash, should be a wash. I didn't know about the exact dollar amount, now I do. That's why I made the,
Well, I think before we vote on this, we ought to check and see if the lady that's been cleaning is willing to give us that same amount of money that the new lady is gonna charge them to do her office.
Well,
Or it is a
Well,
wash.
she should be
it's a
giving
different
that
line
money.
item, isn't it? I mean,
She's not providing
this is
service.
specifically a budgeted item to clean Lynn's office. So, to clean the judge's office is a whole different
Okay.
budgeted item.
But this lady that's cleaning all the county offices is giving the county a figure to do all of them.
no,
They're doing
it's
separate.
based on office.
So
It's
is she gonna reduce her cost?
Yeah, she won't charge, she's not charging for cleaning Lynn's because she ain't cleaning Lynn's.
No, and she's gonna pay, and
It's
Lynn's gonna pay the
built
new person the same money, so.
It's a wash.
I don't think it's in the bills this time, but I think Doug can tell you,
Because other person's bills is per office, right?
yes.
Yeah, that's, okay,
Yes.
all right, that's where I was lost, okay.
The budget is $6,500 for the county clerk office cleaning.
for this period.
We spent, for the August, we spent 320, 720 since July 1st.
Yeah, so nearly 2 months. Of course, she hadn't cleaned in August for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's gotta be cleaned, I just hate that we got a good cleaner. I know we got one other person, I don't understand it, really. But she's been cleaning for 5 years, she's holding on balance today.
I was the first office she cleaned in this county before she got all the other offices. So I thought she could maybe make, concession and clean my office during the day. I was wrong.
I think it's just a matter of money. It's a wash. We're not spending any more money. It's not costing us anything to change people. If I wanted somebody else to clean my house, that rather than the person who's been doing it for 5 years, then that's my option to do that.
But the lady that's been cleaning the office charges, say, $150 to clean one time. Okay, then the new one charges $250. It's not a wash.
It is if it's within the budget as
No,
item.
it's not.
I think she's charging the same.
Yeah, if you only have, if you say you're gonna get $6,000 a year for cleaning my office, then you give them $6,000 a year for cleaning your office.
I didn't see anywhere where it actually says the price, but I guess when it knows it's the same.
I just don't like the idea of having multiple different people, why can't we have the same person?
Well, I mean,
Been a discrepancy of.
at the end of the day, the cleaner that the rest of the county still has, and the cleaner that cleaned Lynn's office does a great job. No one ever complains about her work. She's punctual, she does a great job, and everyone is satisfied, but she's no longer cleaning Lynn's office. And if Lynn needs somebody to clean the office, that's why I made the motion, so we can move ahead.
Does she clean other offices during the day?
Yes, and she doesn't have time to do more. That's why she couldn't do it during the day.
Okay, could she clean Lynn's office during the day and move and clean one of the other offices
Well,
up here?
but that's kind of up to her, because it's her business. It's her.
Yeah, but we're paying her.
Well, but it's still her business. I mean, she chooses, you choose whose house you want to build. He chooses where he wants to bulldoze, I choose whose farm I want to rent. That's just how it works.
I'll call a question on the motion.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to hire this person to clean Lynn's office, for the same price as we were paying. All those in favor of this motion, raise your right hand. 6. So anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, we got that. Okay, info and quote for clerk.gov. Lynn, I'll turn this over to you because I just see what's in the book here.
And the conference and the Clerks Association, we have been urged to go to a .gov domain on our website because it's more secure. The person who is currently providing, or the company that's currently providing our web services is proposing a one-time fee to move our website to a .gov domain for security reasons.
Is this a one-time fee, not annually?
So,
Second.
all right, we have a motion by Zach, second by Jim, to go with software management to adjust the clerk's domain to a clerk.gov domain. Any discussion? For a cost of, the one-time cost of $2,500, right? All right. Yeah, Steve Beach, okay. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. C, the fee office reports. I know, Lynn, we had discussions over the months, and we still need, when the check comes in the mail, or not in the mail, in our box, if you could have a report as to what got paid by that, it'd really be beneficial. And I'm not gonna spend a bunch of time on it, it's 10 o'clock.
I want my breakfast, just keep on going.
All right. We can eat Taco Bell, I guess, if y'all wanted it, it's open late. Next, page 150, the bonds that the current sheriff has. If you look on here, I want to get a motion to cancel these bonds, and they'll take effect at, the last day, at the end of the day of the 31st. There's one on page 150, and then there's another one, let me see, on page 152. See that that on the last day of August, that the bond will be canceled for Sheriff Scott Herndon.
I'll make a motion that we cancel both of these bonds on August 31st, 2024.
Second. At the end of the day, yeah. All right, so we have a motion by Dan, second by Zach, to cancel the two bonds for Sheriff Scott Herndon, who is retiring at the end of the day, August 31st this year. Any discussion?
Quick question. The person you're swearing in, when you doing that?
On the, whatever, the
30th.
30th.
Okay.
So they won't, the new sheriff will not take, office
On the 30th?
until midnight, or September 1 at
I
12:01.
assume we got new bonds probably issued going to have an issue for this person.
Yes. Yeah, they'll be covered. So, all right, we got a motion, I guess, who seconded that?
I did.
All right, have a motion by Dan, second by Zach. All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. On page 153, we got litter abatement grant. This is so, if you read on through here, what we have to vote to apply for the litter abatement. And I guess it's time to do that, so.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Jim, second by Mike, to approve applying for the litter abatement grant. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Page, and I did have the county folks clean up 155 the other day.
Yeah, I seen it.
And after they mowed, and, so we'll turn that in on the litter abatement. All right, the, page 163. There is a KCO insurance grant program, and we can, if the grant can be up to 12.5, let's see, which would be 10 from KCO and 2,500 for us to match. I just need a motion to approve us seeking this KCO grant.
So moved.
Second. All right, have a motion by Mike, seconded by Zach, that we pursue the KCO insurance grant program. See if we can get approved. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, this Safe Streets and Roads, we are supposed to pass a resolution. There's a lot of papers in here. There's a lot of papers in the last meeting, I believe. I think I got page 171.
I think it starts on 169.
Yeah, it does, but I think the one that applies to us the closest is this resolution on 171. If you see it, it'll base, and I don't have the numbers to put in here, and I may, probably what I may do is, I'll get all these numbers in here and we'll vote on it next time. Y'all good with that?
Yep.
All right. All right, that'll take care of that. Next, we have the treasurer's finance. I tell you what, let's do this. I know it's late, but this is important. Look on page 189 on this Safe Streets for All. On page 189, there's Spencer County that has all the crashes, the crash density. Page 192 has Spencer County. Look at all the crashes. We've looked at this up on the screen. Notice all the crashes on 55 and 155. Page 195 has information. You see where the bad ones were. Look, 16 to 31 crashes on those big dots on the 155. Look at that one right there at Elk Creek. And that's from 2018 to 2022. But I'll have all that. We'll have all that next meeting.
They talked about the wrecks last meeting, we talked about flock, anything new on it, or same deal?
The state has passed the bids, or not the bids, but the, permits. But now they have questions of, the one out on 155, which I think is actually on the cities. Well, they're gonna be doing that 3-lane in the next 5 years. They're having complications on approving that permit. I told them it'd be fine for us to install it as is, as we plan now, and then 5 years from now, if we have to, us and the city have to go in together to spend $1,500 to move the pole, we can do that, but.
That's a rip-off.
So,
That's a rip-off. $1,500 to move a pole is a rip-off.
probably wasn't 50,000.
They're not wanting to install it where it's currently
Block, is it?
locked in. No, not blocked.
The
The
state.
state, they're not wanting to permit it due to the 3-lane that's projected in the next 5 to 8 years. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I called them after the last meeting and said, what's up? And they were still working on information. And Andrew.
They kind of blamed on the state, and then the state was blaming it on them. I'm gonna get back in touch with them tomorrow to see what we can figure out about the 155.
And, but anyhow,
But the rest of them are permitted and they're in, I guess, in process. But they also had several poles that was on back order, they couldn't get them. I think that was a big hold up as well, is that just getting the block poles themselves.
all right.
We'll have to pay this year's subscription. I think we already know for access, actually.
Yeah, we have access to thousands of cameras right now, we don't have them installed.
There's a bunch of them around. If y'all start looking for them, you'll see more than you think around. No, there's several around Nelson County.
Global crossings, are they working?
Yeah, theirs are up.
That's how they got the shooter today in Hardin County too.
Oh, really?
All the SWAT cameras out in Western Kentucky that follow.
See if that shooter had came this way, and he could have, from Hardin County. If he came through Nelson, those flocks would have got him, I guess.
Well, Mount Washington's got a bunch of.
Mount Washington, Bullitt County had him.
Yeah, we used Mount Washington to solve one of our cases there a few weeks ago, a couple months ago.
So, all right, next on the agenda is the invoices, bills, and transfers. They're in the book. The treasurer is here. If anyone has any questions, I'm not gonna kill any more time. Let's open it up.
I make a motion to pay bills, make transfer.
All right, I have a motion by Mike, seconded by Will to pay the bills and the invoice, approve the invoices and transfers. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Motion passes. We don't have anything for executive session, so entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Zach, second by Mike. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned. Like I say, that ain't a record. It's a good average.
Yeah, I'll call you.
I'm gonna call tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'm not there.
Well, I'm gonna be there Wednesday.
Anybody want breakfast? I'm going to Taco Bell and I'll buy you breakfast.